Well, how we doing, Trip? Ready when you are. Global, geek, gang. Well, close to a gang. We're kind of up in the air whether we're a gang or not. We're a trio for sure, but we'll start ganging up as soon as we possibly can. Everyone, hello. Good to see you all, my good friends. Sorry for starting 2 hours late. But it's better than not starting at all, which would happen last Thursday. So we're here. And I am so happy to see you all here. Let me start out by thanking two wonderful people for hanging out with me. My amazing, beautiful first officer, the extraordinary RM Raquel Briggs.
I love you. Thank you for having me. Unexpected, but we're going to do this and we're going to have a great time.
Absolutely. I love having you here. And of course, last night I had a great time hanging out with this gentleman, and I always do. And I appreciate Mr. Raymond King Dolphin Feliciano for hanging out with me.
Hey, it was a great time last night. I'm glad hope everybody who was there had as good a time as I did. And you know, Clobby, when you say Global Geek Gang, I feel like snapping my fingers like West Side Story. West Side Story.
Global Geek Gang. We'll have a theme song. We will have a theme song one day. Now 70s. It's a kind of a chore for me to pull up my Discord and find it. I want you to join us. You don't have Twitter, I guess, do you, or Facebook? It'll take me a while to get that up and find it because my computer's old and it's crap. I hate Discord more than I hate a lot of things in life. But I will do it for you, buddy. But it's going to take a while for me to find it, man, because I didn't know you didn't have a Twitter thingy. I don't blame you for not having a Twitter. It's nothing on a judgment, bro. But so give me some time on that, and I will get one to you. It's just Discord is garbage, but I will get it to you. I'll have to like concentrate on it and let my friends cover for me when I do that. But first of all, Eco 3. Well, hello. That's a new face there. I like seeing hello to new faces. Hey, now we're gang. We're getting into the gang territory. Ironcaster buddy.
It's that guy. How are we doing, everyone?
Hey, Caster.
Dio, let's see, D-Bud Martin, what's up? Disaster Area, the great Lat 70s rock fan. PJ Maybe, buddy, you got to join us one of these days, brother. The great Chris Persia's here. Yeah. The man.
Hey, Chris.
Disaster. Did I already say Disaster Area? Anyway, I like saying Disaster Area, so. And guess who else is here? The great Lord Both.
LT!
Long live the Legion. Long live the Legion. Avon lives, buddy. Cold Era. Welcome. Another, I think, a new face or a new person. Good to see you there. Liger fan, buddy. The great Pat S. Yeah, Pat S. I'm like you noted at the outset there. We had to start late, man. Sorry about that. The great Steve Mitchum, buddy.
Steve Mitchum, Maddie's daddy.
Yeah,
Sending her
buddy.
bazillions and bazillions of
Hey,
kisses.
Steve.
Now,
Hey, Steve.
Raquel, you may want to chastise Raymond here because last night we said hello to this gentleman and he had to fill in for you, and it just wasn't the same. He said,
Oh, hey,
snort
I
up,
thought I did okay.
poopus.
We had to do a duet, Raquel.
Snort up, poopus. So go for it, Raquel.
What happened? Did you think?
He tried to say it like you, and
I tried to say it like you, and I thought I did a pretty good job.
yeah,
I bowled him over.
but you can't match Raquel.
No, I can't.
But he is here. The grand bear is here. The big, beautiful bear. Little scritches underneath your chin. Snort up, poopus!
There you go.
Yeah.
Ironcaster, can you help me out with something, brother, and send our buddy that 70s the thing on Discord because I'd have to pull mine up. But could you do that for me, brother?
Sure, not a problem.
You're the man. I appreciate you, man, because I'm my it takes me. I don't know. Wouldn't know how to find him on there. I'm that bad with Discord. You the man. Let's all hear it for Ironcaster bailing me out there, brother.
Yay!
We appreciate you, bro. Even though I'm mad at him because he was a co-conspirator the other day and making me do something that he and Jed and Mark and Ash.
I am innocent here.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Raymond.
boom, 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 boom. They call him Flipper, faster than lightning. Yeah, no, you're right.
C is smarter than he.
Nice one. You're right, Iron. You were a late comer. You were an incidental. You're an innocent bystander to the.
Yep.
Oh, but here's one who isn't. Here's one of the one of the conspirators, the great Ash Singh. What's up, buddy?
Get in here.
How's it going, guys?
That's brother. It's so nice to see you.
You too. It's been a
Welcome.
few weeks. How you doing?
We are a gang now.
Yes, we are. Hey, Ash.
How's
And
it
there he
going,
is.
Raymond?
All right.
What co-conspirators? What are you talking about?
You guys made me do something. You made me do something the other
I have
day. You know.
no idea to whatever do you mean.
All right. Hey, that 70s.
All right. Hey,
peeps.
guy.
Hello, peeps.
Hey there.
Buddy, I'm
Hey.
too lazy to come over there and smack you, so I'm going to hold out my fist and I want you to run into it. making me have to go to Discord. What's up, buddy?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm on a day off, so I'm fantastic. I'm feeling
We
good.
appreciate you being here, buddy.
No, thanks for having me on. It's nice to be here with y'all.
Y'all.
There you
all
go.
my friends.
Nicely
Y'all.
played, Kamloops. Nicely played.
If Snort was living here in Kamloops, he'd be Smokey the Bear right now. It's so
Yeah.
spooky here.
Ooh.
It's
We're
so
taking up
bad.
smoking.
I have all of the windows closed. There's
Oh,
me
there's no
too.
way.
Yeah.
I can't breathe this in. I got the air conditioner going, but it's just ugh.
It's horrid. Yeah.
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 And it's not just there. Apparently, a lady friend of mine in Montana they're having it up there as well,
Yeah.
around their area as well. Brett Cohen, hello there. Kip Ellis, hey. So it's horrible all over there, huh?
Might as well take up smoking. I mean, it's
Oh my
it's
goodness.
It's really bad. Yeah, they
Yeah.
issued an air quality advisory, so I think a lot of people are just staying indoors. It's actually pretty dangerous. The air has color at this point, so
Wow.
out of 10 on that index yesterday. It was 10 out
Oh,
of 10.
goodness.
So that's as bad as it
But
could
is it
get.
spelt with a U?
I don't know.
Are you?
Guess who's here, folks?
That'd be an index, not an index.
hey Nick,
Yeah.
Nick Cohen.
Hey, that's-
Hey, Nick.
What's up, bro?
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hey, Raquel. I just want to say, no big deal, but you absolutely kind of killed it on Doomcock. I'm just saying
You
and kind
did.
of bragging. I'm just kind of bragging on your behalf that you absolutely killed it. Like, it was really excellent. It was like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 1, but with really nice, slick, vocabulary talk. It was just very excellent.
That is so kind
It
of
was
you
amazing.
to say. It's like live radio. You don't really get out everything you want to say, and sometimes you walk away and you think to yourself, "Did I say that in the right way? Did I fully flesh out that point?"
So take
So,
backs,
no,
Raquel.
you
no
were-
take backs.
You were amazing. We went
Oh, you
6
were.
hours. Before we get going, continue, everyone, though, our dear friend Retro is there. He's not going to be there for long, and he is not feeling well. He's not with us today. Retro, we love you, buddy, and
You
we
take
hope
care,
you feel
buddy.
better.
Oh, good.
feel
Okay,
good.
good. I thought he
Feel
was
better.
going to pop in on the panel, and I heard that you're
No.
not feeling well, honey. I'm sending you a big hug. I got really sick from mine as well. So I just love you so much, and I'm so sorry that you're not feeling well. And everyone here cares about you so much, and we cannot wait until you're back on the mend because you
Sure.
are missed here, fine sir. RD, we just love you very much, and get back on the mend. Please go and rest.
Absolutely. And,
Sure,
hey,
Raquel,
buddy.
if I was to say I'm suddenly not feeling well, would I get a big hug too?
Yes, sir. You certainly would, Kamloops.
Hey, everyone, LT, never, dude. We would love to have you pop in. It's never too full, but that's up to you, brother. But never look at it that way, man. We just love having you. But if whenever you can drop in, you're the man. We miss you, man. So
Yeah, and this is certainly not a full house. We have not hit the maximum. And I would gladly jump off this panel if you would jump on LT.
Oh, don't you dare.
We
Don't
love
you
you,
dare.
and
No.
you are just such a great friend and such a knowledgeable and wonderful geek that I just love your company. So if you can all spare a few minutes, get your butt on here.
yeah, I mean, like I say, if it's never LT, it's always this, man. No pressure, but the invite's there. If you can make it, we'd love to have you. It doesn't matter how many there are of us here, dude. So.
I'd also like
Mark
to say
D.
that
Hey guys, welcome,
Mark.
welcome. Glad to be here.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead, 70.
yeah, the stream that you and Raymond did yesterday, that was excellent.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh,
Very enjoyable.
which one?
Yesterday, wasn't it?
which
Last
one are you
night.
talking about now?
Last night?
night.
Last
Did
night.
we do one last night? Who did one? Me?
What you did?
Yeah, with
Raymond.
Raymond.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was right. I thought Raymond did one. I just hung out with him.
You had me worried that I was getting my days mixed up there.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Such
didn't
a
let him
good
talk
stream.
at all. I was
was
so
a good-
terrible of a host. He didn't even get to talk.
Oh, I get my word in edgewise.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Quick show note,
How
everyone.
much longer do you usually take?
Uh-oh.
Nick's daughters,
Somebody's gonna-
ladies and gentlemen.
There's another
Daddy.
guest.
We have another geek that's going to join the gang.
Absolutely.
Geek in training.
Yep.
Yeah. Raised them well.
Everyone, we're a little bit less than a month away, but we're going to talk about it for a month. August. Well, this StreamYard it's always slow in the daytime. My computer doesn't help. August 8th, 1961, the debut of the world's greatest comic magazine. Although they didn't put it on the title to issue. Was it 13 or 14? Forget the issue number. But Fantastic Four #1 debuted that day, and on August 8th, 2021, I shall gather my global gang of geeks 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on that good Sunday and celebrate the Fantastic Four like Marvel Comics will, not the 60th anniversary, that is, because we all know that Marvel Comics and Disney will not do that. So we will. Then we'll do it adequately. Let's put it like that. They're already proving that. So it's up to us, folks.
We got this. We
got
got this,
this.
Oh, yeah,
Clobberin.
we got it.
And we shall handle it. We shall handle it. So August is always on my show. It has been ever since I've been doing it. Jack Kirby month, and we will celebrate one of his possibly his greatest creation. Let's see, and I really hope that all FF fans that we have here will be here, including this stalwart gentleman who has just joined us, Mr. Lord Thoth, buddy.
Hello,
Hi,
Thoth.
everyone.
Nice to see you.
Hey, buddy.
After Raquel's impassioned plea, I couldn't stay away for too long.
Hey, we
Canadian
missed you.
content.
Yes, we need CanCon here. We got Kamloops, we got the Alberta, and now we got the East.
Kamloops is having a rough time out west, actually.
Oh,
Really?
it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Not to bring everything down, sorry.
What the hell? I'm old anyway, so it doesn't
Having a
matter.
rough time out there. I have a
Not
lot of
got much
friends
time
fighting
left
those
in it.
fires. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. We're surrounded. We're ringed by fire right now. But
Oh,
Holy crap.
yeah, these poor buggers. A lot of people lost their houses and whatever. And,
good.
That's sad.
LT,
hotels are
even
packed
here
full
in
of
Alberta, it's like Blade Runner. Like the
Yeah.
air has color. Like everyone has all their windows closed. It's just it's
new.
impossible to breathe outside. So everybody's all shut up.
That's
No
awful.
rain in sight either, so it's going to keep going. But hey, what can you
Okay. I have to ask, did I miss Briggs say the legendary words? You know, those words
Which ones would those be?
that start
There are
with an
many.
S and then a Q
Snort a
and then a bird.
poopus?
Yeah, you missed it.
Do it again,
No,
though.
she
Oh, I
didn't
made
say
it-
it actually.
Hey, Nick, I made an attempt yesterday.
Did you say it?
It was
Tom?
nowhere. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I thought you did a good job, Ray.
Oh, thank you, Lord Goff.
Well, Ray, I have to admit, it was a good try, and not that I could ever get close. But as I heard you do it, then I heard Raquel in my head, which was kind of
That
yelling
is
it
very
over
high
their voice.
praise. That is very high praise.
Pat S, check your DM.
Oh man.
That is very high praise.
Our
Okay,
dear
so
friend-
I have a question at the outset.
Yes.
Ooh.
And my question is for Esh.
Oh, Lord.
I was doing some reading. I don't know that much about gaming. As you know, I'm a nerd, not a geek. So
Okay.
I heard through CNET this week that Netflix is going to be getting into gaming. What the heck is
Yes.
going on, Esh?
I heard about. I don't know too much about it, but your guess is as good as mine. As far as I know, Netflix is trying to get into gaming. If I had to hazard a guess, it would be some form of cloud-based gaming, similar to Google Stadia or Xbox's Project X Cloud, where the games are run on their own servers and they're just streamed to your device. Now, whatever, I'm not sure what they're going to implement for the control input, whether they're going to have to provide a dongle with a controller
Yeah.
so you can use a controller,
Pat S, check your DM.
or some form of mouse and keyboard input. I'll have to look into it more, but I just heard about it yesterday.
Would you look
so I'll need to
into
look
that
into it.
for
Yeah,
for
well.
us here at the Global Geek Gang? Because
That's
I
right.
would love to have the breaking news on that and stay on top of that. So this is an emerging story.
Yes.
Netflix is going to be carrying games. I don't profess to know a lot about games, but I can tell everyone at home that someone who I consider a subject matter expert on gaming is our very own Esh Singh. So yeah, I'm curious as to where they're going to acquire the games, if these are going to be well-known games, if there's going to be some type of revival of old school games where they would pay to use this intellectual property. And like Esh was saying, what are they going to do about the controller? I mean, when we think about Netflix, we think about, remember how it used to be like a vending machine? You would rent a movie and then you would have to take it back to the vending machine and you would input your credit card. I mean, how are they going to roll out the controller? So lots of stuff coming down the pipe as far as this Netflix rollout of gaming. And I hope you'll all stay tuned because as Esh finds out, we will cover it here, and Esh will have all of that information for you. So Netflix is going to have gaming, folks.
I don't think they will. That's dead on arrival. There's no way that's going to happen. I think CNN did an article about that too. They did a news report on it as well as what you said, Raquel. I can't see that happening. It's too much of an infrastructure change.
Yeah.
For what they already have. You're going up against some big dogs too, right? You've got Nintendo, you've got PlayStation, you've got Sony,
Yeah.
right?
I
You've
mean,
got
how is it going to be
Xbox, Microsoft.
imagined? Yeah.
It's just-
Well, I mean,
I'd be surprised.
in theory, they could just kind of roll the video game rental into what they already do with the disc, because I mean, in a manner similar to what GameFly does. Which, for anyone who's unaware, GameFly is a company that will let you rent games for as long as you want, where they will mail you one and you can hold on to it and play that for as long as you choose, and then you mail that back and you can get a new one to come out.
Yeah, but it's still this is still the infrastructure of it. I defer to LT on this. Lord Thoth, I totally agree. Like, this seems almost an insurmountable task. It's not like you can just announce this and it's just going to happen. I have probably a billion questions, obviously hyperbole, but I have like a billion questions about how this would even go down. And LT is right. This is I can't.
I think they have the streaming platform already in place. So if you're going to be pushing 1080p movies or even higher, that should support the gaming profiled. Like all of the infrastructure is there for that. But you're right. It would have to be a significant change in direction. Now, Netflix is the most powerful. Well, I mean Amazon too, but most powerful streaming service out there. So you would think that they would want to stay with their strengths. But let's not forget that Netflix years and years and years ago destroyed a certain company that used to rent videos.
Yeah.
Blockbuster was destroyed by Netflix because they changed direction. I think that it's potentially it might be really cool and interesting. Then that they would have to create their own branch of their company in order to be just to push out games, which is really interesting.
This is what I'm saying. Like this is the first place my mind went, LT, and thank you so much for steering the conversation in that direction, because Netflix isn't the little guy. They're not the guy next door, who runs the bodega and he's got a cat and 3-year-old Smarties. This is this is a company that took down Blockbuster. So are they thinking about expanding? When we look at Amazon and we look at the fact that they have their streaming service and they have movies, and then they have all of these separate branches where they're raking in this cash. This would be quite a reach into the market to open up even jobs. Like LT, think about the jobs that people could have if they're going to start developing their own games, hiring people to produce games. And then what Esh brought up, who's going to handle the hardware? This isn't just software we're talking about here. We're talking about hardware. So lots to deal with before this can move forward.
And assuming they're talking about developing their own games, because they're not going to be able to compete with Game Pass and PS Now for existing platform games, I wouldn't have thought.
But is it going to be
develop their own.
Sorry, is strictly streaming like a Stadia, like some people in the chat mentioned, or you think they'd actually would come up with their own hardware, Ash, and like have their own like Netflix box, which would be pretty tough to do, I think.
Hardware's a challenge, I think.
Yeah.
Given the market's pretty
saturated
at the moment. Yeah.
Here's what
Amazon's already delving into the video game side of things. They have that new MMO New World coming out, which is again kind of staying on topic with this to some extent. It is
Lost Ark
Amazon
is
getting
the
into the
latest
video
one.
games.
And that's why Netflix brought this up, right? Because you saw Amazon was getting into that platform and deciding to go in that route. So Netflix can't stand back and just say, hey, our biggest competitor, we can't let them get that one up on us. So I think that might be part of it. But I think this is all just up in the clouds right now. I think they're just saying that this is what's going to happen. But I'm sure that this is years down the road.
Hardware would be a big strategy change for them.
Right?
I can't see that happening. Because they've been very good at putting their app on other platforms. They're very good. You could get Netflix on virtually every platform on the web, whatever. So to go for a hardware platform would seem to be a big strategic change for them.
All right. I want to capitalize on what Lord Thought said. I truly believe this is dead on arrival. However, now I'm going to capitalize off Miss Briggs. She says, no, they're clearly looking to expand. I don't think they're going to succeed at it, but this is a matter of them needing to. And the reason why they need to succeed is, well, Amazon is very strong competition as far as streaming goes. And if you look at a Netflix original versus an Amazon original, Amazon clearly has more money, so their shows just look a lot better. Netflix originals look a lot cheaper. I mean, just look at the Marvel originals, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about how little they spend. Netflix is trying to find ways to compete, and this is the next step they're trying to do. That's why Netflix is also putting out a clothing line, because they realize we can't compete against Amazon. We need to do our things. That's why they got a clothing line. Now they're looking into video gaming. This is them trying to find a way out, because they're not going to win against Amazon as far as streaming goes, especially when Amazon's got the upper hand on them in so many ways. This is Netflix right now. They're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, also the other part is the video game industry now outsells the movie industry. Yes. Video games are the king of entertainment. Taking the seat of
what I was going to say,
Hollywood.
You're right. Yeah, you well spotted. It's a bigger market.
Yeah, well, Engadget, if you guys, go to Engadget, they have an article, and this was the article that I was skimming last night. As you all well know, I'm a geek, or I'm not a geek, I'm a nerd, so I don't know much about gaming. But the title of the article is Netflix will reportedly offer video games within the next year. But right after the title, we see the company hired former Oculus and EA exec to lead its game development efforts, which is of course why Ash has been putting some links in the private chat to sort of unpack what's going on here. And what do you think, Ash?
Okay, so reading through the article that I've sent in the chat. So the guy hired is Mike Verdu, and as you said, he's an ex-executive of EA, which is alarming because of what EA has recently done in the past with their loot box systems, which is basically gambling for kids. In some countries, they've actually filed loot boxes under gambling laws now because of what EA has done in games like FIFA and some of their other titles. But he has done a lot of work on mobile titles as well as Oculus. And from the article that I've put in the private chat, it says that Netflix are being very tight-lipped on everything at the moment, but they're saying they want to make interactive style games. So in my mind, that would be akin to the Telltale games, if you're familiar with those.
Like an adventure game.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's basically
kind of a movie-based game.
It's a
could
very
I please interrupt
interactive
for just
story.
1 second? I beg your pardon. Just
That's all right.
the chat is riffing off of Ash just spilling out all of this information and something really clever and wonderful. We have a pun from the great Steve Mitchum. He says, also known as slots for tots. And I thought Ash Singh would be amused by that. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Ash. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Please continue.
No, but he's right. He's right, though. This is targeting at kids, I would think, more so than adults.
Yes, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do incorporate microtransactions in some form. To what extent, even if they do, we don't know yet. And I believe they could be adding the games free of charge to their regular subscription. But also Netflix is churning out their own Netflix original content. So this game development would provide Netflix original games for the platform. But will that be enough to sustain the gaming portion? To have a viable gaming solution as part of their package, I would definitely recommend them just like licensing other games to be placed on Netflix like they do with other titles from other companies on Netflix, from films and TV, as they do normally. But then again, it remains to be seen how the hardware is going to be, how the hardware issue, because that's going to make or break these new changes. I mean, again, if they do implement the games for free, it doesn't really matter either way whether you have the hardware or not, because you still have the base Netflix. But there's a lot of questions at the moment. But
do you think this is going to be like the Apple Arcade?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Could I just circle back on this terminology that you used, especially because we have a mixture of geeks and nerds here. Would you mind explaining to the nerds at home and people who don't know that much about gaming? Let's unpack this term microtransactions. Could you please speak to that, just so everyone at home knows what you're talking about, Ash?
Okay, so a microtransaction is something that a company implements into its game as a form of usable currency, but the currency in the game is purchased with real world money, or you could purchase real world money for, in some games, it's the loot box itself, with like whatever random based mechanic, but for the most part it's you buy the currency and then you use that currency to purchase your loot boxes, purchase your cosmetic items. Some games to start of development have screwed the pooch and implemented pay to win mechanics. namely Battlefront 2 most recently, where the stuff you could buy as a result of the currency from real world money actually gives you a statistical edge in the game itself, and that is basically a pay to win. And a lot of mobile games go off this business model. It's basically that's the main way the mobile gaming industry, the microtransaction based gaming business model is run. But when it comes to big AAA games, microtransactions is mainly cosmetic, and the companies that do pay to win, they get slated through the mud for it, and rightly so.
So this also involves government then, because of course
yes,
in Canada
governments
you would have
gotten
yeah
involved.
the provinces would obviously be worried about not only underage gambling but also the effects of gambling, right? I can imagine the
Exactly.
Alberta Gaming and Liquor
Yeah.
Commission would be highly interested in this. There were times when they were investigating those claw games, saying that children putting $1 in a claw game and trying to draw a teddy bear out, that was a form of gambling, because of course there was no skill involved. It was like a roulette, a game of chance.
Yeah.
So really super interesting. Thank you so much for unpacking that for us, Esh. It's just, I want everyone to understand why LT was so incredulous off the hop. I wanted everyone to understand why he was sort of scoffing, saying, how is this going to go down? Because there are a lot of balls in the air. There are a lot of balls to juggle here if this is going to get rolled out.
Yeah, well,
Literally.
I was just want to say that cost me about $300 one year with the microtransactions, because my kids, I told this story before, but I'd put and I do computer consulting, so I'd put Microsoft was on my bill each month on my credit card. I'd put in my credit card for my kids' Xbox you can buy one game, and then what happens is like FIFA and all these sports games, you can buy cards, like Ash was saying, like play to win, and you can upgrade your team. So every month, Mrs. D was saying, "Well, what's that $20 or $15 on the card?" I said, "Well, it must be for my business, or you don't pay attention to like a software subscription." And then I tallied it up. I think it was between $300 to $500 one year that my kids had said, "Oh, well, Dad, you said you put the credit card on." I said, "Yeah, that was to buy the game, not the So and there have been class action lawsuits. So they did give you refunds.
Yeah.
And so I got some of the money back. And I think the first game that did that was Smurfberries with the Smurf game, if anyone remembers that, where the kids were buying Smurfberries.
It wasn't Smurfalicious.
So it wasn't Smurfalicious.
I would like to clarify one thing real quick about the microtransactions, and that the idea with video games, it's not solely the currency like you were saying, but it is every little purchase. So, for example, in a MMO such as World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, which have been two that have been in the news as of late, you can buy mounts, and for example, famously, one of the early examples was being able to buy armor for your horse in Elder Scrolls Morrowind back in like 03. And to the point where now Final Fantasy XIV, which is a great MMO, and that's what I play, has a mount for $42.
Oh,
Wow.
That's crazy.
So if you're at home
prefer
and you're
naked
trying
horses.
to visualize this, I want you to sort of think about what the fellas are saying here. It's like as if you had paper dolls. Buying the game would be the paper doll in itself, and then in order to get all the clothing that you would have lovingly cut out in the 1970s and tried on all of your paper dolls, you essentially have to buy these things in order to facilitate playing the game. So that's a highly demonstrative way of unpacking what's going on here. So you're not only gaming the game, so like Esh was saying, where you can almost buy your win, but like Ironcaster was saying, that you also accoutrements. So accoutrements, the everything that you want to have as you play the game, whether that be vital or just aesthetic. So wow, this is definitely a way to siphon money out of parents.
I would like to say that if it's $42 for a horse, I prefer my horse naked rather than having a suit on.
In this case,
and hey, Pat, good to see you, man.
Well, they're looking
MMOs,
at,
there's a term with MMOs. There's a term called whales, which is to say the players who will spend all this money. Ironically, this particular amount I speak of is an actual whale.
Yeah, I thought for a minute you said Wales, the country. I thought we don't want anything to do with that.
In a nutshell, it's basically extras that you can buy for real world money. That's in a nutshell what it is.
And,
that's
that's not
like
including
World
story.
of Warcraft and both Final Fantasy. The part that hurts the more here is because this is an MMO you have to pay a monthly subscription fee for.
Yes.
Wow.
So you're already paying them $15 a month every
Not
month
all
to be able to
MMOs are like that, by the way.
And then on top of that, you're paying that. That's my kids were doing. They're buying the cards of all the best players, I guess. You're buying the players for your team, so you can win. Yeah. Now, Amazon has gaming. Is that basically considered a failure? Then they that gaming box or the streaming box, or how does Amazon do with their gaming? I mean, it's non-player, not kind of like Stadia.
Yeah. So what Amazon are doing? That I think, to my knowledge, at the moment, there's 2 MMOs. One is already out. One is on the way. New World is out, I believe, and Lost Ark is on its way. You can sign up to get a chance to access the beta for it, and they're PC-based MMOs. So kind of like World of Warcraft on the PC. There's been some okay reception to New World. Lost Ark, some people are interested in it as well. But we'll just have to wait and see, because these are Amazon Games' 2 titles.
But don't they also have hardware, Ash, too? Doesn't Amazon have with their didn't they sell a joystick one point with one of their
That's
set-top
a
box?
great question.
I thought they did. Didn't I mean? But I think it didn't go anywhere, if I'm remembering right. But you're more the gamer than me.
I think,
so
I'm not sure about Amazon doing it, but I know Google did it, because Google's Stadia platform, which is their cloud gaming service, they sold the Stadia controller for the and the Stadia controller comes in like a package with the Stadia subscription service. So you buy it and you get the controller and you get the service. So it's obviously a premium for the hardware.
Yeah.
And then that allows you to use the controller and connect it to whatever device you might have. You might be playing with your Stadia games on. And I have tried it. Bearing in mind, I've tried it with an Xbox controller on my phone. So I bought Elder Scrolls Online on Google Stadia, and one interesting thing is for Elder Scrolls Online specifically, they share servers with PC. So a lot of the hardware.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of the hardware is, I'm guessing, is PC-based hardware. So I'm guessing naturally they'll do PC stuff. So when I linked my Bethesda account to my Google Stadia account, it was like I was doing cross save between PC and Stadia was the actual Nintendo Switch like play anywhere for these other games. Now, the play anywhere concept, with Nintendo releasing their new console, the OLED version, which is going to have a 7-inch OLED panel and updated software. How is that going to affect the cloud gaming market? Because I know a lot of people aren't going to get it, and plus there's already a concern of burn-in for the OLED screens. I know I'm digressing very far into a Nintendo talk, but I'm sure they're going to have some sort of issue behind that. But then again, have they solved the Joy-Con drift issue, which is plagued Nintendo since the start of the Switch?
Yeah, I've read about that. They're all using substandard switches, to dig into it and to save money.
It's not the Switch itself; it's just the controller. There's a little thing with the analog sticks
that
causes them to drift.
Yeah, but I was reading about the engineering of it, and everyone uses that same hardware that's made by the same company, and it's basically. I read the article somewhere, but they're showing so they all use that instead of upgrading it or using better hardware. Yeah. So that's why they have that drift, because they're using. I mean,
the drift is in the Switch Lights as well.
Yeah. So
rather than you just some people will just buy a new set of Switch controllers because you can do that. But with the Switch Lite, the actual control mechanism is built into the console itself. You can't remove it, so you'd have to send. But then again, you send the whole console away to be repaired for the Switch or Switch Lite. But it's that thing of if you knew this was the issue on the Switch, why didn't you fix it on the Lite? Because the Lite released after the Switch.
Yeah, and you're getting the same hardware back again.
Yeah.
So then it's going to just fail again. So that's what everyone's so upset about is by not improving that hardware part. When you source it out, the engineering, that's it's not something you can do. So it's.
I mean, like with everything, the gaming industry is $1 billion industry, and it's going to have its hidden agendas, hidden politics, hidden whatever, just like Hollywood. So every industry has their own hidden whatever. Gaming is no different. I mean, we've had loads of issues recently. I'm not going to go into it, but if you know about what's happened with Ubisoft, there's that, and like loads of like pay to win mechanics with certain companies. CD Projekt Red being the golden standard, and then Cyberpunk 2077 came out.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
As absolute disaster, and like I pre-ordered the collector's edition for that game, and now the collector's editions are half price in stores.
I'm so glad they ran out of those because I didn't get one. Google had now.
Yeah.
Did you see what you did, Raquel? You've created a monster here. That's...
Raquel, you said
so
you
we're talking about gaming today, apparently.
Well, no, this is going to be LT. I see this as a huge issue for geeks because, a lot of you game, and a lot of people, especially during this time when we've had the lockdowns, a lot of people were using the games almost like therapy, and everything I've been reading online in the news saying that there's an increase in using games, especially these cloud-based games, because it allowed people some sense of normalcy. It gave them a community to go to, and from that there are so many issues emerging. Here at 45 minutes past the hour, Zach 7 is talking about these issues that we're discussing and the impact on the other side. And he says they also do a trick where they get you to buy gems or something like that, which you then use to buy things in the game. This creates a psychological distance from money. And that's an extremely intelligent thing to say. That little bookend that Zach Sevens has used here creates a psychological distance from money. So this sort of nefarious issue, this underbelly issue that Esh was alluding to, that all forms of entertainment have, the consumer, they're starting to feel this. So great comments in the chat, and really glad that we brought this up and that we're able to talk about it. A huge issue. Let's see what happens.
So Jed has just made a good comment around cloud-based. Sorry,
excuse me. Esh or Mark, is DSC the same way? The flight sim, the air combat simulators.
In terms of you're talking controller problems, or you're talking about add-ons that you can buy?
Add-ons, because I see a lot. I haven't gone in. I've been thinking about getting like the various aircraft.
Well, like I subscribe to this is how they get you with the subscription service. So if you have Xbox PC gaming, you can actually get Flight Simulator through that, and they have all the so you get the new Flight Sim, and it downloads everything throughout the world. So it's amazing, but you can also buy add-ons for it to if you want to buy like a specific plane. But I would just say just try it first and see how you like it before you but that's how they keep getting extra money. And like Ironcast was saying, gaming is far bigger than the movie industry now. So it's that's where the money is. I mean, in terms of entertainment.
Last year, EA earned $1 billion on microtransactions alone.
Yep.
Wow. Like, you guys, this is why I wanted to bring this up. This is a whole thing that is just something I don't know anything about. I know that it is greatly concerning for a lot of gamers, and I love that you guys are bringing all of this information to light because geeks are really concerned about this, and this is huge news for geeks. So this nerd is sitting back and just trying to facilitate as much as we possibly
Raquel, we're
can.
going to make you into a Gerd or a Neek eventually. We're going to cross-pollinate you, get you into games.
Be careful about what they invite you to, because before you know it, they might have you playing Fortnite like Clobby.
Oh yeah, I mean badly.
I know nothing about that.
Clubby, what did you think of playing Fortnite?
Oh,
I
it was
didn't
brilliant.
actually get to watch. How did you do?
Horrible. I'm not good at it. I mean, I had fun hanging out with the fellas. That's all I cared about. I can't aim for shit, so I don't really care.
That's why I don't play those games either.
Since they're a-holes for getting me to play it, I hope I messed their game up and they lost because of me.
It was worth it.
I remember swapping teams and just sniping people off for fun.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I
you
can't-
did.
I can't aim those damn things for anything, but it's fun. It was fun hanging out with the girls there.
So Jed made a good
Excuse
point in
me.
the chat, though.
Girls.
Touches on that. So Jed was saying that they want to. The publishers want to get rid of single-player games. This is why there's a big cloud push. They like multiplayer. They like in the cloud. They like microtransactions. That's where the money is. And there are those of us who love single-player games, and it's possibly going to get harder and harder to get those experiences.
Yeah,
There is a big push for cloud-based multiplayer.
Yeah, I agree and disagree. So there is a very big push to cloud-based gaming. There's an industry push for live service-based things, and yes, there's becoming more of a scarcity in single-player games. But single-player games will never die. There will always be there will always be a market for that. It may not be as big, let's say 10, 20 years in the future. I prefer single player games over online games, multiplayer games.
Me too.
I love story based
too.
games. But
Like The Witcher 3.
yes, that's
Yep.
amazing game, great story and
Yep.
DLC. But when it comes to certain companies, let's take Xbox's xCloud for example. What their main purpose is a play anywhere business model so you're taking their Game Pass library and play on your mobile device, so you can play those games on the go, provided you have an internet connection and a decent. And depending on how good your connection is, will depend on how good your frame rate or how good video quality you can get. But you could essentially take your single player games that are on Game Pass. I mean, now Xbox has acquired Bethesda. All those single player games are on Game Pass. Not all of them, but majority of them are on Game Pass. Now through Project X Cloud, you'll be able to play the single player games on your mobile device through their system. So,
Wesh, do you think that economically, if it costs the same amount of money to make a single player game as it does a multiplayer, do you think it's more attractive to a publisher and developer to do one or the other? Or what's your feeling about this?
My feeling is there aren't going to be as many single player games going forward because that's not where the money is going for. Live services is where the money is. I mean, Ian just read out earlier $1 billion on microtransactions alone for EA. That's just microtransactions. That's not even sales of the titles.
No.
That's not the sales of the DLC.
No.
That's the extra stuff that people are paying money for. And a big part of it is psychology, because they would have teams of psychologists analyzing the data, looking at what people buy and stuff. I mean, take loads of mobile games, for example. One recently came out for the Crash Bandicoot franchise. I forget the exact title, but it's like a mix of Temple Run and Subway Surfer and Crash Bandicoot all in one. And they did one thing that loads of microtransaction filled mobile games do is there'll be a thing in the tutorial part. There's in mobile games they usually put timers on things, so you got to wait for certain things to happen, or you could use their currency that you can buy for real money to get rid of the timer entirely. And part of the tutorial shows you how to use that currency to get rid of the timer. So it's like a 1 minute timer, and it says use this currency to get rid of the timer. But like
Cooldown
those
timer.
well versed know that it's only the tutorial. Wait out the timer, you'll to get it done for free. But some games don't even let you do that. They need to make you to use that extra currency, and they're like, and then all the time you'll get ads to the store saying, oh, buy this amount, oh, for this price you'll get this amount of currency in this crate or box, or in Fortnite you'll get if you load up Fortnite you'll get ads for whatever's going on. But if you go to the item shop, there's different packs, your different skins, for example. If you go to the very bottom, there's packs that you can get through the platform service itself. So on PlayStation, for example, that's what I use most of the time, is they do skin packs in the PlayStation store for Fortnite. So it's like a partnership with PlayStation, I'm guessing. So PlayStation will get a cut or whatever. But rather than using your V-Bucks, which is the Fortnite currency, with real money and then the skin, it's you just pay money for the cosmetics directly. Mm-hmm. Now, coming back to the whole psychology thing, it's kids will want these cool skins, so they'll pay it whatever. Unbeknownst to the parents who don't know what's going on, they're rinsing their parents dry of money.
Yeah.
And then
Tell me about it.
Yeah. and then let's just take FIFA, for example. You buy players. The players have different. You can play for long enough and earn the currency yourself to buy the packs with players in the Ultimate Team. But you can also use real world money to buy this extra currency that you can also use to purchase the packs. So it's like that ease of access, that quick, easy dopamine hit of opening a pack.
And that's very important. The dopamine hit is very important.
And even worse is
that's how Magic the Gathering sucked me in all those years ago.
Years ago they tried to. I remember Congress was trying to look into it, considering that the pack system with Magic the Gathering is a form of gambling.
Yes, actually, that's true. There was a lot of that was going on in Canada as well. In our legal system, there was talk about that.
Yes. Guys, I just want to throw it over to the chat, because the chat's important, and they're sounding off. D. Bud Martin, who is a very important part of this community, says what they'll do is sell incomplete single player games, and you'll have to purchase DLC to get the complete experience. They want the cash flow. And then we have Mando Merck, who is very happy that we're discussing this.
D. Bud Martin, Avon lives, brother.
He does. Avon does.
And we have Mando Merck, who is extremely happy we're discussing this. He's echoing and amplifying what D. Bud Martin is saying this is the direction of gaming. So if anyone in the panel wants to speak to those comments, I think the chat would love that as well. So
it's very much become driven by the money, the industry, where it's less about the gamers and it's more about the stockholders. Is for a lot of these companies. So, for example, certain franchises, such as your Call of Duties or your Assassin's Creeds, or those that are these yearly franchises, will rush to push new content out just so they can get that new hit for the next quarter. And oftentimes, what happens is they'll rush to put a game out, and then we'll give you a roadmap of all the content we promised you when we were trying to sell you on this game 6-7 months ago. So they will intentionally launch these games incomplete without all of the content that was originally promised in them. Blizzard famously used to say, we will delay something. We will not put out games that are half cooked. Well, then they got bought by Activision, and they have not been the same since.
True, that's true. Activision is evil.
Mm-hmm. In fact, EA has consistently won those awards for the worst business in America.
Electronic arse, I would call them.
Yeah. Well, they've kind of been taking a turn weirdly recently, because I mean, look what happened with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, yeah, granted, it was already being developed before EA purchased the company that was developing it. But EA could have very well said, "Stop what you're doing, introduce these mechanics, and then we'll go from there." But they were just like, "No, you guys do it," and it's been a smash hit.
I do want to point out, and to give EA some credit, which EA did say that they did plan to focus on single player content. They did recently, like last year or the year before, had come out and said, we do want to make sure to focus on single player content because enough people have been complaining. But also, I mean, they've got enough profits anyway from the other games that they don't have to make everything that.
Yeah. I wonder how long that'll last, because they've seen the money from, like, again, money, the being the key word. They've seen the money from microtransactions, but like, due to the success of Jedi Fallen Order, and the constant fan backlash, maybe EA, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm not sure whether they did say so. Ian, if you could send me an article, I could read. That'd be great. But if they did say that, then great, because more single player Star Wars games. I mean, KOTOR, we're going to get a new KOTOR game, and we're going to get hopefully a bunch more other single player games from EA.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know,
Knights of the Old Republic. All these acronyms. And there was a point made earlier about DLC being the unfinished parts of the main story, and for them, by and large, it is kind of correct, but in some cases, no, because you've got the main batch of the story, and then let's say it's that some games will have a side story completely separate from the main, but you can carry over all your equipment or weapons or gear or whatever into the next story area for the DLC. But some companies will blatantly cut off parts of the story and then put it behind a paywall. But sometimes I look at it as, in some cases, it's kind of like a paid epilogue. It's not right, but it's kind of like sometimes a DLC will be a paid version of just like a bit of backstory at the end of a main thing with like some extra branching off story points, which could lead into a future title or whatever. But DLCs is it's a tricky one because so many people do different things. But then again, by and large, it is pay for extra story. That's what it is. Yeah. Oh, I just blown everyone's minds.
You were.
At least it's story. Even if you're paying for it, at least it's story.
My concern is that it creates a classes in gaming. I just
Yes.
and you know that's just the nerd, the academic in me coming forward to say, you know, this creates a tier in play where it's not about ability, it's about how much money you can put on the table, and that's quite unfortunate because you know that means that some kids and young people and even adults will have access to one form of the game, and everyone else will have a completely different form of the game. It's like almost like an elite version, and
peer
and that's
pressure
sad.
amongst kids. Peer pressure amongst kids would be, well, I've got this.
Yeah.
Why have you not got that? You know.
And how come you didn't show up to the game and play you know, this level or that level, and that's really sad. You know, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I think about that. I'm just learning, fellas. But it certainly seems odd for it to be so out in the open. And I'm so glad that Ash has put this to the panel to discuss it, because it sounds like it's a very serious issue. Certainly at the outset, I was thinking more like LT, like this is gambling. Why are they letting kids gamble? And
right.
And
Ash
yeah, you
nailed
know,
it. Yeah, Ash nailed it when he talked about the psychology. These publishers understand that psychology, the peer pressure, the willingness to have the latest of everything, even in a game. Yeah, they know that. They've got teams of people on
Wait,
that.
wait, why
Hey,
did
FOMO.
that 70s? Why do you look like Nick?
Just because I'm sitting next to Nick, I felt I should honor him.
Who
He
was I
became
look
him by
like?
osmosis.
We all
I
want to look like
aspire
Nick.
to
but
be
He's
Nick.
champ.
Actually, Nick is
Well,
my
We
inspiration.
all want to look
Oh,
like Nick.
thank you.
So before we continue with this Ironcaster, when we started this talk, Pat asked our good friend I let him come on. He had something to say, and he's of course been very patient. Let me let him do that before we get back to that. If that's okay with you all.
Go
Pat
for it.
S, our good friend
Thank you so
Pat S.
much. Yes, I
Go for
appreciate
that,
that.
Pat.
I have been terribly patient, to be honest with you, because honestly, I don't understand what you guys are even talking about.
Join the club. Join the club.
But
Me
Ash
too.
understands.
My N64 works just fine. Sometimes I have to press the cartridge in a little bit more. That sucker still turns on. I plug it into that tube television I keep in the corner. Play me some GoldenEye.
My Commodore 64 works pretty
There
good
you
too.
go.
GoldenEye, a great game.
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Great
Classic.
game.
Guys, I've been asked to pass on some information.
Okay.
I think would be kind of pertinent to many of you, and to maybe to some for different reasons. It's interesting. I've been talking to a lot of people over the last couple of days about this, but to let you know what's going on and everything. Mexican Iron Man, who is very important in this community, is a guy who many of you have probably seen in chats and have experienced. You just know him as a jovial, fun guy who is really just a person who is just very accessible. But what you may not know, and I don't want to give you too much of the background because he's going to talk about this tomorrow, and that's what I wanted to invite y'all to, is tomorrow he's taking over Loki's channel while Loki's moving.
Right.
And
Okay.
he is going to, yes, and sometimes he takes over and it gets very silly. But tomorrow's going to be a very serious discussion. And what we're talking about now is basically the third wave of up-and-coming YouTubers, people who are interested in growing their audience, getting monetized. And Mike, as many of you know him, that's Mexican Iron Man's name, has helped a lot of people and a lot of channels, big channels, grow exponentially and very quickly. And what he's going to talk about tomorrow, and listen, if you can't be there at 8 o'clock Central Time, I understand that for some people. If you live in LA, that's tough, man. Let's get up at 6 a.m. and then trying to take a lot of information in. But it's going to be posted on Loki's channel. It's going to be there. And what Mike's going to talk about is how to grow your channel, how to get monetized if that's something you're interested in. Some people aren't interested in monetization, and I understand that. You know, if you're on YouTube as a social outlet or because you have something to say and you want a voice in this world, he understands that 100%. We understand that. But there is a need for the community to keep growing, and we don't want to see it get stagnated. One of the things I'm doing is he's kind of taking me under his wing. And because I've been thinking, like, where's my place in this community? I don't feel like I'm much good at being live in streams and stuff. I can't interview well. I'm comfortable enough, but it's just, how much good can I do there? A lot of what I'm interested in, my geekdom, and in some cases nerddom, is like, my show would be on topography. So if anybody wants to come listen to old map stories, I guess we could do that. But that's not going to fascinate a lot of
I got a
people.
friend who does a channel on that. My buddy Harold Ellis. I got to hook you guys up. He's
Mark, DM me seriously, dude, because that's
There you go.
that's
There
my
you go,
jam,
see?
man.
yeah.
Well, sure.
So what I've decided to do is there's a lot of people who want to be on screen, but there's not a lot of people in the background helping to produce, helping to do research and shows and things like that. And that's what Mexican Iron Man's doing. He's going to work with one or two of us like that and kind of spread that around so that we can grow these channels, because there might be a day. And I mean, I don't know anything. Obviously, they wouldn't tell me even if I did. They're not going anywhere. But there could be a day where an Az or a Gary or something like that decides, hey, you know what? I want to go and run a comic book shop again, or I want to go off and do this, and or I want to leave YouTube completely and go do it on a different platform. Those kind of things happen, and we just want to make sure that the community stays. It's not about making money, though it can be for some people. Some people want to make a living doing this, and some people do. Some people, it's a good part-time job. It just depends. It'd be a great thing, frankly. I'd like to see a lot of older people on here, and this be kind of like a supplement of your income for retirement. No, I do. I think there's a.
You're
I think
talking
as
about me,
much as-
Pat.
Well, I'm
Yes,
talking
you're
about anybody
old.
who. I think YouTube is just as accessible to people in their 60s and 70s as it is to people in their teens and 20s, and I really do mean that. And I think we see that. There's a lot of channels out there that, and I tell you honestly, I think the sweet spot is when you look at people like Loki and Purple Valkyrie and all that. That 1,000, 1,200, like 1.2 thousand to a little under 5,000 seems to be a really sweet spot to hit. You're kind of under the radar. You're a bit of a boutique channel. You're obviously going to appeal to a smaller crowd, but it's a very loyal crowd. And Mexican Iron Man just wants to foster that, and I want to help him do that. And I think that that's a good thing. So his whole show tomorrow is, and like I said, don't feel like you have to take it all in one viewing. That's why it's going to be posted on Loki's channel, and it's going to be there. And not every tip that he's going to give tomorrow might be applicable to you, but it might be to a friend of yours or another YouTuber. And I think a lot of what Mike's going to talk about can apply to people who have 100,000, subscribers already, even people. But I can tell you this without spoiling too much of what he's going to talk about tomorrow. There's a person, and if you know who this is, please don't say, because I really don't want to take it away from Mexican Iron Man tomorrow. But he took somebody, and in 90 days, they went from having about 100 subscribers to being fully monetized and having well over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
There
I know
again,
it is.
if that's your thing, that's wonderful. If it isn't, that's fine too. But I think it's a good information to have out there, because the more voices we have out there, the stronger we are.
All right. Well, dude, sure. And of course, I love Loki. I know Loki is in transition. He's moving right now, moves and all of this stuff. So he'll be back next week. And so kind of out of pocket right now. And our good buddy Mexican Iron Man, who is a pal, is doing that everyone tomorrow on Loki's channel. That's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, sitting in for the Great Stone Loki. And that's an interesting topic for sure. Pat S. is a very good friend of this channel, has been for a long time, and a very good friend of a lot of channels. You all know him. So that is very cool of you to announce that. Everyone, if you get a chance, check that out, because I love my buddy Mexican Iron Man. He's a good dude, and
he really is.
It should be a very informative show. So
he's top notch, and he is on Twitter. Don't feel that you can't reach out to him. He's very open. You could DM him. He's got an open DM. Me too. I can't help you as much because I'm in the phase of learning right now. But certainly, any recommendations or any clarifications you need, feel free to reach out, because that's what we're doing it for. We want to see the community grow. That's our main purpose behind doing this.
Do you have a link, Pat S, we can put in the chat for everyone for that? Or
someone. Sloth put it in there.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, was it? I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, thanks.
I need new glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I see it. Loki. Okay, I got it. Yep.
There you go.
I was thinking the Loki show. Sorry.
Right, and you know what? I'm gonna end on this, guys, so y'all could get back to the fun. But honestly, another thing too that we really, really need to push is, if you're on somebody's show, like Nick Wise is a great example, right? Nick's everywhere. Don't be afraid to ask people, hey, go subscribe to my channel. They don't realize it sometimes. And, Mark D with the C says this all the time. It's very true. Mexican Iron Man backed him up on this. When you tell people, look, we're watching the show right now, but when you're done watching our show, go subscribe and watch a few minutes see what you like. But watch a good 5 minutes of a video. See if you enjoy me or not. But say subscribe. That way we don't lose that subscription and people get those numbers. Because for some people, numbers are important. There again, if it's not important to you, not a factor. You don't have to bring it up. But I think we need to do that. I think we always need to remind people, look, if you have somebody on your channel, don't forget to go there and subscribe to them. I think most of us do a great job of it. But sometimes we forget, the fourth, fifth, sixth time we have somebody on our show, we might not push it as much, but it's important because that's how subscriptions grow.
Well,
thanks, Pat S, for that. I do want to say just one thing quick.
Sure.
I found Loki about a year ago, actually, and I want to say, from my perspective, it's one of the shows that I absolutely have to listen to every day. I'm working here from home right now most of the time, and as I'm pounding away at the keyboard, I love listening to his shows. He brings some great female people in. He has some great times with Mexican Iron Man, and it's just a hoot every time. There's Purple Valkyrie, there's you Clobby, there's a whole slew of great people that he brings in onto the show, and it's all the topics that you know and love out there in the chat. And if I were you, I would check out Loki's channel right now and subscribe. And also a lot of the people that he introduces in a lot of his shows. So go back, watch some of those old shows, and you'll see that there's some really great YouTubers out there that are atrociously undersubbed. So thank you very much for that, Pettis. That's
absolutely
that's friggin' awesome.
Thank you, LT. And you make a good point with Loki too. Is Loki is truly a destination channel, and what he does that's I think really brilliant, and it works for him. There again, it doesn't work for everybody. He keeps that hour format. He goes between 45 minutes. Rarely, if ever, do you see Loki on a daily show, a Monday through Friday show, and he does Monday through Friday, go over that hour time. So you can plan that out in your day. You can go, okay, I know if I have 45 minutes while I'm driving or while I'm doing this, I could go ahead and pop Loki's show on and listen to it. And that's his niche that he fit into. And I think that's a lot of what Mexican Iron Man is going to talk about tomorrow too, is like finding your niche. What do you want to get out of this? So once again, guys, I really, really do appreciate it. And I'm leaving the stream, but I am not leaving the chat. I'm going to be hanging out listening to you guys. But thanks so much.
Thanks for popping in, man. You got to come in and talk to me some night, man. Come hang out one of these nights, buddy.
Dude. We'll do it Wednesday. No problem.
You got it, bro. Gang. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Pat.
Hey, local here.
Thanks, Pat.
I'll just add that, Loki was one of the first pals I made here, Paulie and Loki. And Loki's been one of my best buddies over the past year. He's taken me into his group, Valhalla. He's made me a part of the comic round table. I consider him a very dear friend, very helpful. I'll do anything for you. Loki's a great guy. I love you, man, out there. You are the best. And I'm glad that Pat talked about that, because anyone who's not subscribed to Loki, you got to, because he's a real good dude, man. He really is. And I really like him a lot.
You can count on one hand how many people I actually am a member of their channel, and Loki is one of them. So if you love some great conversation and some great YouTubing, Loki's the channel you have to go to.
Absolutely.
I agree entirely. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And I like Ironcaster even when he's because I like Culture Casino as well. So now he's both. He's Ironcaster Casino right there.
I think Culture's about to join us again as well. Oh, wait, yeah.
Wow, what is this? Is this tic-tac-toe? Am I supposed to make Culture Casino my avatar?
That's right. You were waiting on you.
No, well, I don't have one, or I would, because I would be proud to be. I would be proud to be Culture Casino. I got to get him to come hang out with us on the Global Geek Game one of these days.
That was some good points there about Loki, though. I am on the West Coast, and I've always found it difficult to get his early morning shows. And then I went back to work, and now I could get them no problem because I'm up so early.
And Esh, skull! Absolutely, brother. Skull!
So I just want to give a shout out. We mentioned my buddy who loves Harold Ellis, who does orienteering and crafting. I'm going to put the link in if you want to pat us, if you want to sub to his channel. It's there's channels for everything. So you were joking about maps, and my buddy does a lot of orienteering and stuff. So if you're into that stuff, that's what's great about I don't watch regular TV anymore. Thinking of maybe even canceling my streaming that I got rid of cable, but I just do a little bit of stream. I have digital just for watching. The sports ball when I watch that occasionally, or the news. But I watch YouTube like 99% of the time, and if there's anything I'm interested in,
it's just orienteering is a forgotten art, man. That's something that we should be teaching our youth for today. Is that we're so reliant on technology and streaming and our phones that we forget to go back to the basics. Map and compass, orienteering. Because if it hits the fan, you need to be able to survive, and 99% of the population doesn't do that. I will do a quick plug out here, since I'm Canadian, that the Canadian Cadet Program, Air, Sea, and Land, Air Cadets, Army Cadets, Sea Cadets out there, has an unbelievable program for youth. And if you're into those kind of things, survival in the woods, camping, using technology to be able to survive in the wilderness, all of that stuff, hunting, gathering, that's the place to be. And I think that's a good point that you brought up there, Mark D with the C, because it is a forgotten art.
Yeah, well, actually,
And
that's
Lord,
a good
and
segue.
Lordcloth, and
I was just gonna say,
Lordcloth,
yeah, go ahead, Raymond. Yep.
Yeah, Civil Air Patrol in the United States is the same thing. Both
Hail to
for-
Cap.
Yep, both for cadets and senior members. In fact, that's where Sandra's right now at a CAP Flight Academy for cadets.
And if you're thinking about going into the military, Canadian Armed Forces, the U.S. Armed Forces, law enforcement, that's the stuff you want to get into as a kid. So all those parents out there, if you have kids who are, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old that are starting to get to that age, consider putting them into that situation, because it's all about discipline. It's all about learning. It's a great environment to learn, to become that next generation of leaders in our countries.
Yep, and then I got to head out soon here, guys. But I'll just give a plug. I'm actually a scout leader in the real world, so that's similar groups in terms of camping and learning to start fires and cooking. And it was my son thankfully is also an Eagle Scout, so they went somewhere with the football team and they had to light a fire, get the grill going. It's like, well, I can do that. I'm like, well, how'd you know to do that so quickly and so well? It's like, well, because I'm also a scout, so you learn all as much as I love sports and those activities for kids. There's something extra when you're involved in scouting or volunteer group or one of these other groups where you learn a lot of skills for life, and first aid and practical things, but also to be self-reliant.
Yep.
Not that sports can't help you that too, but when you send the kids out on a hike and they've got to do orienteering and you actually see them smile or that light in their eyes when they actually realize that figured out something, or they had figured out how to use a compass, and everything is so easy these days with GPS and the computers, and someday if the holodeck becomes reality, God forbid, because maybe we'll never leave. But I've got to cut out now. I got to get to another meme. I just want to say I appreciate being on, and I finally got on with Culture Casino. It looks like maybe look at this. Just kidding.
A couple of them.
Yeah, I might try to do a stream. Might try to do a stream later tonight. But if check out my channel to see Clobby playing Fortnite, and that was a big. Maybe we'll get him on. Maybe we'll get him on tonight. Let's do that tonight again if we can. If you could organize that,
Never again.
Yeah, come on. If they have a thing model, you got to you'll be there, right?
It's cool. But no, if I can ruin your game if I can sabotage your game, the team there, then
that'll be worth it.
It's worth it.
Yep. So appreciate everyone and catch you
right,
doing it. Thank you. Yep.
Appreciate
Have
you,
a
man.
rest of the
Bye,
stream.
Mark.
Yep. Take
Take
care.
care.
Thanks.
Take care,
Bye.
Mark.
Now we got Paulie, dude. It's about time Paulie came back on here. When we got Iron Culture Casino Caster had something for us, and I interrupted him. I'm sorry, buddy, but what do you have for us?
Oh yeah, let me pull this back up. So
I mean,
what I had
derailed it.
was
Pat had been waiting for a while there, man. So.
Oh no, it was fine. I was just busy kicking myself from the stream.
Just while we're waiting for Ironcaster to pull something up, I'd like to hear Raquel say "skull." Your skull, Raquel. Your skull.
Yeah. What is skull?
Loki's skull.
Oh, like the Viking cheers.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to hear you do that.
Skull.
Oh, very good.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that
Well
was
done.
nice. It was fierce.
Number one.
That was a Shield Maiden cry if I've ever heard one.
It was.
What are all these avatars of our buddies, our other buddies?
Every time we're on streams, we do this. Jed and I and people, we do this on streams.
This was just kind of something I was pointing out for our earlier discussion about DLC and the way games are chopped up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's right.
What are we? Wow. Okay.
Micro DLCs.
You gamers
That's
get
convoluted.
That, as I've heard some people describe it, it's the players who, in the case of an MMO, pay the monthly subscription fee and also buy the extra, doodads, gadgets, little add-ons, cosmetics, are valued more because they are seen as being worth more than other players. And it all gets down to the money. It's the money muddying the realm of video games.
The other problem I found with multiple DLCs that finish the story is if the game doesn't do well, then you never get the end of the story because they never release the DLCs. I'm thinking Deus Ex Human Revolution. I don't think it ever came to a conclusion because they didn't make the remaining DLCs. And not that that was a bad game because I liked it, but never saw the end of it though because no DLC, no extra DLCs.
There are some cases where the DLC does seem to work and be popular. So, for example, in some current fighting games, such as Super Smash Brothers, where the dev team will start on. They did announce about DLC, but they didn't start on any of that until after the game had been released. Meaning, they had already released their roster of. I'll pull that back. Their roster of players. Of characters that they wanted to put in the game, and then they started to develop brand new characters.
Yeah, that's okay though. I mean, having new characters coming in is a good thing. I mean, if a game doesn't do well, you're not going to get the end of the story if they've kept it back for DLCs. In fact, I love the Deus Ex games, and I'm wondering if they'll ever make another one because I don't think Human Revolution did that well. It's a real shame. Big fan of those games.
Again, it all comes back to the developer, what company is making it, and what the game is as well. So, like, it is the same. It's to some extent the same for MMOs, but not every MMO is the same. So, like, take Elder Scrolls Online, for example. The DLC is like yearly chapters, and there's also like story DLC. There's and stuff like that. But there is a massive main bulk of a game to just play through as well in Elder Scrolls Online, and that's not even including like the extra like ESO Plus subscription. And there's a lot of cosmetic items and a lot of like health items and stuff, like things that give you like stat boosts and stuff like that. I mean, but that's like a standard MMO. You can buy stuff for stat boosts and things like that. But it's for the most part, it's cosmetics, but there are story stuff as well.
Sorry, Mando, just correct him, and he's right. It's Mankind Divided was the last Deus Ex. It didn't complete. Human Revolution was complete.
Well, for that, I'm willing to bet that because Cyberpunk was such a shit show that they probably won't want to. Was it Square Enix? Probably won't want to try and put out a Cyberpunk style game.
Is
what I imagine they'll pick up from what happened.
Yeah, CD Projekt Red did 2077. So yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited for that game, and then I'm glad I didn't get a pre-order. And now I'm never pre-ordering anything ever again. I'll wait for 2 years, and then it'll be a good game.
Well, the thing is, it was announced back in 2012.
Yes.
2012, when we got the first teaser. That was
seriously.
When we got, yes,
that's like Ben Stein. Wow, like geez.
Yes, that's nearly
wow.
That's like for
Clear
just under a decade.
Yeah,
it's like 8 years we've been waiting for this game at least. And I remember all those years ago when I watched it at E3. I first saw that trailer, that teaser trailer. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. What's going to happen to The Witcher? Oh my God, what's going on?
Little
then we
did
get
we
this
know,
time. And,
all they'd ever done for 8 years was work on the trailer.
Yeah. No, the thing is, they worked on the demo, for the behind the scenes demo, and then that was changed. and then stuff from that changed, and then that was a prefabricated lie that they gave to people. And what we got on release day was a half-assed port of PC. Because that's basically what they'd like. The original first release date of Cyberpunk 2077 was end of last year, and that was no, not end of last year, start to mid of last year, and that was way before the next gen consoles even came out. So they were intending this to be released on the PS4, Xbox 360 Pro, and Xbox Series, not Series X, One X, and all that stuff, and PC. And what they'd done is they tried to, and basically the build of the game was a PC build, and to my understanding, they'd try to finagle it to fit all the others, but they'd stretch themselves out thin because when the next gen game, because they delayed it because bottom line, the game wasn't finished. It was buggy. It was a buggy, unfinished mess. And everyone was like, it's CD Projekt Red. It'll be fine. They're the golden standard. They've never let us down. And we've put them, as gamers, we've put them on this pedestal that they could do no wrong, but they did. And so basically, when the next gen consoles came around, they tried to release it on. Next gen hadn't even come out yet, and then they wanted next gen builds are gonna come out who knows when, but behind the scenes they were working to get this game running on PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One, PC. PS4 and PS4 Pro. The same thing, not separate. And then PS5, Series X, Series S, because Series X and S are two different SKUs in terms of hardware power. So those builds, I'm guessing, would have to be separate. And then PC, but PC is the main thing. And even then, if you had top range hardware, you didn't have too many issues. It's just the bugs and the glitches. But PS4 was an absolute shit show. It was barely playable. Sony removed it from their store.
That's right.
The digital store, because of the state it came out in. On PS5 when it came out, I've got a PS5 and I played a PS5. I didn't get so many glitches, but the game just kept crashing. Like I'd play for like half an hour and crash. Play for half an hour and crash. There'd be objects floating mid-air. Enemies would T-pose. And for those that don't know what T-posing is, when the NPC non-player character is in the shape of a T, arm straight out, legs straight together.
Basic model, yeah.
Exactly. And so some of them were doing that, and like clipping issues, random bugs. It was an absolute mess.
It sounds like more fun with all those things in it than if it was working properly.
It does, because it provides for some glitchy, some funny glitch montages.
Yeah, I've seen those, yeah.
Then again, the problem is you're paying full price for a game. You want a finished product, but the gaming industry now is like, well, half-ass it, put out a sellable product, and then fix it after.
So CD Projekt Red learned one of the hardest lessons in business. You can spend years building up goodwill and everyone loving you for all these great moves. Well. It takes one misstep to destroy all that.
Well, it was an executive decision to press on with the release.
It's a business lesson.
That game could have easily used 1 or 2 more years of development to polish everything off, to get it in a state. And then because of the management and executive decision to press on with the release, we had a half-finished game that all the developers were trying to finish whilst it was being released, and everyone was getting flack. Developers were getting death threats because people are stupid, and it just became a big mess. Class action lawsuits were thrown out by the investors. The management were doing it for the money, basically, but investors were like, no, what the hell's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
There's two of me now.
Too interesting. So I actually, it's just I lost for words mentioned No Man's Sky, which was an interesting game. I've just
That's a
started
great
playing
one.
that, and I'm
What do you
really
think?
enjoying it so far.
There you
So,
go. Yeah, we're a few 2 or 3 years after release of No Man's Sky.
Yep.
When that came out, the hype around No Man's Sky was so big because of the procedural generation technology that they put in. Because there's the coding that they've done for that game. It's only a small team of developers. There was it's 11, 12 or 13 developers by the UK company Hello Games. And they created set assets, and they made the procedural generation tech to take parts of those assets to create new creatures and things like that, and they will just multiply further and further and further for one-to-one scale planets, for solar systems with multiple planets for a huge galaxy with literal quadrillions of planets that to physically visit every single planet in the game world of No Man's Sky, the solar system would be disintegrated. That's what we're talking. That's the physical scope of that game.
I was actually one of the ones that pre-ordered on launch and actually played it religiously. And if you didn't actually apply yourself time to it, it was fantastic for one reason. You could lose a whole day just on one planet.
Fat
time you could visit a whole solar system, and everything was kind of different. And from where they went to now, that company not only lived up to the promises, even though their content and how everything has progressed is like space Minecraft in a way.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's evolved over time. But the great thing is the developers have stuck with it. And the beauty about that development team, the Hello Games, hats off to them, because they haven't asked for a single dime more.
No.
They've done everything for free, all the expansion content for free. They've stuck with the game day in, day out for years, years. And it's at a point where loads of people are returning to the game. It's got great reviews now. There's so much good content. Hell, they even did a Mass Effect crossover. 3 in a row. Tic-tac-toe.
Hey!
Yeah, well, I've started it. I'm still on the first planet, but I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah.
You want to hear something funny? Every planet that I visited first and named in every solar system, I just named it Bacon.
There's
a whole trail to find me is all bacon.
Bacon's so versatile, though, Stephen.
Hey, Fat Stephen, Avon lives, brother.
Avon lives, Thor.
Avon lives.
How are you doing, my Canadian brother?
It's good. It's good here. How about you? You're not out west, right? You're in Ontario?
Please don't remind me. Pretty much it's prepping. It's pretty much prepping. I'm on the last bit of doing laundry in a little bit. Wheelchair arrived. My brother's dropping off more stuff. Medical supplies is all arrived for my dad. He comes home 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yes, good, man. That's good. I'm glad to hear he's coming home.
Then I'll send him back.
We're all Canadians here now. This is the Canadian Geek Gang.
Yeah.
It is. Alpha Flight rules.
It's a very polite takeover. Very polite takeover.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
if you're going to have 3 Raquels, I'm all for that, though. Look at that.
Oh, my word.
Tic-tac-toe.
That's Triplicate Girl, not Dream Girl.
That's Triplicate Girl now.
I want to say thank you to Clobberin for the invite, and a big hello to not only the chat, but Miss Briggs, Raymond, Miss Briggs Rock Fan, Miss Brig Caster, Esh Singh, Lord Top, and of course 32 flavors of sexy and Budweiser.
Ooh, flavor flaves is sexy.
You got spicy.
LT, my dream girl is almost finished.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh,
That's
wow.
going to be awesome.
I'm actually really excited about it.
So are we.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. I've never done a superhero before. This is my first superhero. So and I'm just really excited. It has not been easy because LT, you and I talked about the difference between just using the Mark and Mindy silver and using actual mirrored material. So it's been a it's been a chore, but once it comes together, I'm really excited.
Well, you would think that would be an easy costume, right? But it's actually pretty difficult because of that mirrored material.
It is because the shiny Nanu Mork and Mindy material, you can get it anywhere because of course people go to Party City and they buy a cat suit of that stuff and made out of that material, and they go as like an alien, and then they just put like a helmet on their head with tinfoil on it or whatever. So it's actually really common. It's really hard to do Dream Girl, which is why so many people just decide to do white and white leather instead of doing the mirrored material. So, but with you and Clobby educating me on Dream Girl and then looking through Dream Girl and realizing that's what was happening, I put the nose to the grindstone and I'm going to make the mirrored, the metal look. I'm going to make it work.
Wow, that's dedication to the craft right there.
It is. I'm very excited. Well, this is my first superhero, so I better not suck.
I have to start doing the Chris Evans workout then to be able to get the Ultra Boy look, right?
Yes.
Nick, did you say you had to run, man?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh my God!
Get here.
You're going to take an Ash away from us if you do that.
Yes, I'm taking Ash with me because he was too good with the conversation. But I got those real life responsibilities I got to follow up with. That right now I'm looking with my own two eyes that need my attention.
No.
Somebody in the chat said Nick had panache, and Nick thinks that's a food, so he's going to go find it and eat it.
I just love that Nick is in a Death Star because Nick probably has the same length of hair as Ash. Well, Ash's is probably much longer, but the whole idea of your long hair up in a Death Star is actually pretty cool. If you were to go to a bandy ceremony and look like a warrior, it would be really rocking.
Yeah, it would. Oh, it'd be excellent. I mean, what's to lose from such a great look like that? I'm gonna have to start taking lessons from Esh now.
Well, before there were helmets, that's what the Death Star was for. It was for you would dress your head in battle, and it would protect you from sword blows, punches, being hit in the head by accident. So it's a warrior's piece of clothing, Nick.
Oh.
Even now, you don't have to wear a helmet if you have a Death Star on.
Yeah.
So if you're a motorbike rider and you have like a full turban, you're by law not required to wear a helmet because the turban has enough padding and cushioning for your head to require. But my personal gripe is what happens to your jaw. So that's my personal thing. So at least design a motorbike helmet that protects just the jaw, but it's fine. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nicholas, we appreciate you, my brother. Look, everyone, please. This man is, if there's no one more criminally undersubbed than this fellow here. He's got the greatest channel. If I could, I would give him all the subs that I have to put his channel over the top. Because he is the man, and we love him here. So, I don't think you can donate subs that I know of. If I could, I'd do that for you, brother.
Where are those Russian bots to sub when we need them, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, on the way.
Come at me.
Good idea.
Yeah, and Nick doesn't just do panels, everyone at home. Nick doesn't just do panels. He does have content, which is, getting rarer and rarer these days. And I have to tell you that his content is really good. He does these food reviews, but it's not like a regular food review where he goes to a Michelin star restaurant and starts judging whether or not it was prepared nicely. He actually does like party food and junk food and just everyday fast food. And it is so much fun, not only because he has immaculate table manners, but also because he has hysterical ratings. My husband and I, we watch all of his food videos, we watch all of his food reviews, and they are downright hysterical. You will cry laughing. He is so wonderful at them. So yeah, we do love Nick around here, folks.
Oh,
Tell everybody what you got going on, man, including a team up that we're teaming up.
I will. So yes, Ms. Briggs is correct. They are getting rarer. Summer has been crazy busy being a dad, but I finally have some dates lined up to get some food videos going. So they are coming, and I have only not done other food ones because I swore that the Chick-fil-A one would come first. That's the only reason why. I got to live up to my promise. That's the only reason why I've not touched our food videos, because I said Chick-fil-A would come first. So first is first. I stick to my promise and my word. That all said, I got that coming up. Me and Clobberin times here. It's going to be just him and I, mano y mano, Tuesday night as we take a break from Toxic Tuesday for a week, so him and I can discuss the Long Halloween from Batman that came out on Blu-ray. Yeah,
Part one, of course.
part one of
Part
course.
one. That was a great. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it. It was a good video.
Yes.
So
It'll be interesting.
It's going to be
talking
a
about
great
that, man.
panel. It's going to be great, and of course, I got Friday Night Comic Talk as well. Yeah, come check me out. I promise you'll find something that you'll like, whether it's Toxic Tuesday, whether it's food videos, or it's me ranting about who knows what of all the gibberish hibba jibba in the world. Come check me out. I know you'll find something to love. Guys,
Nick, my
it's been-
friend,
yes.
what's the next Toxic Tuesday going to be? What's the next movie?
So obviously this coming Tuesday we're skipping. The week after we're gonna be doing Speed. Keanu Reeves Speed.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
Not
excellent.
Speed
We're
too.
going
hopefully.
90s with this one, so no, definitely not Speed.
No,
two.
right. Well, dude,
Well
I'm
done.
looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to talk to you Tuesday night. Well, if you're doing comics talk this week, let me know.
Oh, we will. We're doing it this Friday. We're doing it this Friday as
Oh,
well.
cool.
So,
All right, bro.
Before you go, Sir Nick,
Yes,
did you
yes.
did any of you check out the second trailer for the second part since they bumped it up to from October till I think this month or August? So we're getting
Yes,
the
in a
second
few
part.
weeks. Yeah.
But the trailer's on the DC site already. The DC.
Yes, I came with my Blu-ray actually. I can't wait.
It's in the Blu-ray. Yeah.
They
I got the Blu-ray.
did amazing emphasis just not on the line work, but the whole back.
It's beautiful.
It's like watching an updated original series, like the original animated series, and I loved it. It was good.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it
can't
was. We're looking forward to talking about that, and the Blu-ray is incredible. And
I
Polly,
can't wait to talk
the great
about it.
Polly's here.
Hey, Polly.
Take my
Hey,
place,
Polly.
Polly.
Hey, Polly.
Brother, appreciate it. I know you had to run, bro.
Lantinos.
Thank you for being here, 32, bud. I can't wait to talk to you, man.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be good. We haven't had a one-on-one in a while, so let's make sure we make this one for the ages. All
Hey,
right.
buddy. I can't wait, man. Can't wait.
All right. Take care,
Later,
sir,
bro.
and to the panel, RM Briggs, and the rest of the panel. Be well, okay?
Bye,
Take
honey.
care,
everybody.
We love you. Bye,
Take
sweetheart.
care, buddy.
Good to see you, Flava Flavs.
And look, we got Paulie's picture up there. That's 70s. I did not sanction Paulie, buddy. I did not sanction that your image being stolen.
I am
from
a
the 70s.
generalissimo in the
wait.
Slantino Nation.
Yeah.
I think
So-
I figured it out. What 70s Rock Fan does is he goes around to everyone else's panel and he steals their soul and then reincorporates them as his own avatar. I think
I
that's
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
I do.
Yeah,
it's
here's
like
the
a
thing.
walking
Unfortunately,
Polaroid camera.
unfortunately, none of their talent has rubbed off on me. So it's
Well, here's the thing about that, though. Paulie's got so many cool hats. I would have probably picked not a Dodgers hat, of course. I'd have picked one of those
Dude.
really cool hats he has.
Yeah.
And that's a good one there. But
Like
we
the
love you,
Toronto Blue
Paulie.
Jays.
Yeah. We would,
Oh, wait.
No,
That
no
reminds
he
Blue
me.
wouldn't have that.
no
A
Blue
shout
Jays.
out to Junior for being the Toronto Blue Jays MVP of the All-Star game. So
nice.
good
yeah.
man.
Hey,
There you go.
Are you a Blue Jays fan?
He's a Blue Jays fan. Yeah.
I am a Montreal Expos fan,
Oh,
and they are
okay.
long gone. So Vladimir
Oh, yeah,
Guerrero
they are.
was my favorite player back in the day when he played for the Montreal Expos. He had a son who now plays for the Toronto Blue Jays, who's the best
All right.
player in baseball right now.
Wow. I just don't know how you come to be a Raiders fan. That's what I don't understand.
Back in the old days, I was a young impressionable kid who watched Jim Plunkett win the Super Bowl.
Oh, two. He had two of them, man.
That's
Wanna
right,
apologize?
man. The first one and the
Wanna-
second one, obviously, but
Yeah. First one was
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
I want
That's
to
right.
apologize. I muted my headset mic and not the actual StreamYard mic.
Sorry,
So
buddy.
I'm sorry for that.
I'm sorry, bro. You're good. You're
I
good.
literally just went,
It's all
I'm so
good.
used to doing the headset on the control. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
but I
Alright,
like
bro.
the Jays and the Red Sox actually because I grew up
Okay.
I'm a Nova Scotia boy, Blue Noser, born and bred, and growing up on Channel 10, where back in the old days where we had 3 channels to watch, and the French channel, which didn't count, but one of them was WSBK out of Boston, and of course, every Saturday I watched the Red Sox game at my grandparents'. So yeah, I'm a traditional old school Red Sox fan, but I like the Jays because they're Canadian.
Cool.
But so you just
So when-
latched on to the Raiders, and there they were. Because what about now that they're Las Vegas? Isn't that awful?
That's very awful. My dad
Oakland.
and my brothers are all Pittsburgh Steelers fans, so we always have a great time whenever they play each other. But I love the Raiders because it's just It's been bred into me from growing up as a young kid, but they've been awful for like 20 years.
Oh yeah, well, you know, by the time Plunkett won those two, they were the Los Angeles Raiders, but they're still Oakland, no matter what. And
they'll always be Oakland.
You know, they're Oakland, and I love the '70s nasty, evil Raiders. They were a bunch of bad boys. I love the Snake, and I love Madden, you know, and all those guys. Even though Al Davis was a nut, though.
That's right. And how could you not like the black and silver? That uniform is the best.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you down and upside all around and laugh when he's conquered and won. Johnson, that was great. I love him. Anyway.
I just wanted to plug that if you become a member of Paulie's channel, Latino Slant, and become a Slantino, he sends you one of these uniforms. And this is me wearing it. And look what happened to me. So if you become a member of Latino Slant, this is what happens to you.
I actually saw there was a members stream, like a members video that Latino Slant put out yesterday or today. I watched it today, where we had the Commander Adama himself on his stream.
Yeah,
Lauren Green. Wow.
Lauren Green, back from the dead. Edward James Olmos. And I met him at Ottawa Comic Con, and let me tell you, he is a complete gentleman. He is a consummate actor. He is an unbelievable voice for Latino culture. I think that's just unbelievable. If you haven't subbed to Latino Slant, you need to go and do it now. Absolutely. He's one of those ones where I said earlier, where there's a handful of people I actually am a paid member of, and Latino Slant is one of them. So get out there, go do it, sign up. He's awesome. He's got some really cool, great streams.
Greatest member streams going. They are fantastic.
Yeah, and I refuse though to go to the karaoke nights though.
There's a link in my description below. Paulie is the first pal I've made here when I came over to YouTube a year ago, and he is my buddy. And I love you, brother. You should come join us, but I know you're busy. But you can always invited, buddy. He's the man. We love Paulie.
Well, I'm the same as you, Lord Thoth. I don't sing very well, so
maybe we should do a duet sometime, right?
Yeah, the greatest member streams. He just does the best stuff. It's just great.
10-4.
I urge you to join.
Absolutely, and of course tomorrow night he's going to be doing karaoke.
Yeah.
Which we are both avoiding, right?
All that right now.
Oh, Paulie, you need to get these two guys on the karaoke now. I want Thoth singing.
One day I'll do it.
I want LT singing the Love Shack.
Love Shack, baby.
And I would like to make a request that my friend from Kamloops sing "I'm a Barbie Girl." That would make me so happy. Those are two karaoke classics, and cue it up. I have to hear it. Barbie Girl. Barbie Girl by my friend.
I think Rock Band should pretty much sing Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, and he can actually give it right to Polly and be very like I would do anything for Polly. And Ironcaster, you can do Chubbawamba Tub Thumping.
I can do it.
Oh no, Snortopoopus is
I might
leaving.
do Geddy Lee out of Rush. I could probably sing that high.
Snortopoopus, you're leaving. I love
leave.
Bear. I'm sending you little chin scritchies.
Later, Snorto.
Yeah. You know who's here? Look who's here, Raquel.
Oh no, wait, I can't see. Oh, okay, I just saw.
There you go. As Paulie said, he'll sing that for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, look, what is it with the plushies now, dudes? Hey, Polymies Minion. Hey there, Polymies. Good to see you.
I hope for Barbie Girl covered by Metallica. Yeah, and the Polymies Minion is here with her beautiful little pupperoni, who I just want to just smoochy.
It's funny you should say that because I heard a metal version of Sound of Silence a little while ago on YouTube.
Disturbed, yeah.
Disturbed, exactly. Yeah, you hit it right on. And I listened to that and I went, wow, that's actually a better version.
That is a good version, and they are a great band.
So, guys, let's pull it back to geekness here. I watched Saturn 3 yesterday.
Kirk Douglas?
Kirk Douglas and Farrah
Yes.
Fawcett.
I would just like some feedback on Saturn 3.
Yeah, well, I've been
Something is
waiting for
wrong
the
on
sequel.
Saturn 3.
I'm waiting for the sequel,
Saturn
Saturn 4, but I've never
Did
had
that
it.
make it? Did that make it to the 80s? I think it was 79.
It was 80
was
or
it
79 or 80.
It was 1980.
80.
Wow,
Farrah
Farrah
Fawcett? You know, it's weird. I never saw the first two films.
Farrah Fawcett was so hot in that.
First two.
I never saw the first two. I saw the third one, and I was like,
waiting
"What?
for the
I don't
fourth
know what's
one.
going on here. What is this?"
Well, you're joking around, right? Because there is no
Yes,
first and
yes.
second.
No.
Every time the
Saturn
movie
3 is
comes,
the first one.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
time like Passenger 57 came out, my stupid joke was, "I haven't seen the first 56." I'm so sorry.
Well, that reveals a plot hole because it's Saturn 3. So where were the other two bases? But that would be just the beginning of what's wrong with that movie. Oh my goodness.
You know, the tagline really is "Something is wrong on Saturn 3." Are you telling me there's a lot wrong with Saturn 3?
Oh my goodness. After I was finished watching it, I was so horrified because, of course, the gore, I had to cover my eyes up and I actually screamed. I was like, ah!
It has
My
some
eyes.
good suspense in it.
But
Like,
I've never seen such a low IMDb score in my
I believe that they had a lot of trouble in the craft side building a space helmet that could handle Kirk's chin.
He's naked. He is completely naked in this movie.
Well, they had a really hard time with
What about
Farrah
Farrah?
Fawcett's hair too, as well.
Right,
She
yeah.
had that big hair.
Yes.
It kept getting into air filters in the recycling.
He shows her boobs in this movie.
No.
Why do you think we all watched it back in 1980?
Yeah,
Exactly.
this is why. It literally gets like a 1.5 out of 10 by everyone. But everyone's watched it because Farrah Fawcett's in it. And yeah, she is topless.
Indeed.
My favorite Charlie's Angel.
What timestamp was this? So I can.
And history. Know the rest of the movie yet.
No,
what
I
timestamp
recommend
was it?
watching the whole movie. This is okay. Are you old enough, Stephen? Are you old enough to have gone to the drive-in?
In 1980? No, Steve was a young fella.
No.
Okay, so this would be like the movie that they would show fourth. So you know how you could go to like the super drive-in night and they would have like 4 movies. The first one really sucked. The second one was really good. The third one was like the best one. And then the fourth one, it was just people who wanted to stay up till dawn. I think they called that the dusk to dawn showings. This would be the fourth one that no one would stay for. It was absolutely one of the worst movies, guilty pleasure movies. I would watch it again. I totally would watch it again.
Sadly, Raquel, I have never been to a drive-through.
What?
I'm that young.
Wait a minute.
I don't believe you've never been to a
I
drive-thru.
think you've been through lots of drive-throughs, but never to a drive-in.
Okay. LT. Before I bust out the McRib and teach you what Fat Steven's really about. No, I am that young. I have never been to a drive-in. I regret never being able to go to one, but no. I've never been to one, but that sounds fantastic. But my first experience to a drive-in or like a drive-in theater was actually through the movie Explorers.
Okay. All right. Well, this is horrible science fiction that you just have to watch over and over and over again because it's so bad.
Because it has Farrah Fawcett's boobs in it.
Yes, well, there's that. Also,
they talk?
naked and groping around on the floor.
Really?
Hysterically, Kirk Douglas. It's just so funny to me. I just cannot believe that he allowed this to happen to him, and he's such a great actor, and for him. For him to do this, it's just so bad. And the robot and Harvey Keitel with a ponytail. I mean, I never thought I would ever live to see the day when I would witness Harvey Keitel in a ponytail.
This is the
recommend.
bottom third of science fiction from
You
the
haven't
80s.
lived
Is
then.
it,
This is
is it better or worse than
Hey,
Barbarella?
Hey, Ed
Yeah.
Bishop
No,
is
it's
in it, and
worse.
that's good enough for me. Ed
I
Bishop's
like
in it.
Barbarella.
Suits worked for me.
You have to watch it if you're just tuning into the Global Geek Egg. We went away from the geekiness and the nerdiness for a little while, but we're back and
nudity.
back bigger and better than ever, telling you to watch some of the worst science fiction in the history of
Now that's a
science.
whole other show, though, Raquel. Like worst science fictions of the '80s. That would be a great show because there's some really bad ones. But I'm just gonna, as a quick aside here, my first experience with a drive-in theater was in 1977. Star Wars, when it first came out, the opening weekend.
Nice.
My father and I were. My father was a single parent. He raised me. I was the oldest. The first time I went to a drive-in theater movie was Star
Wow.
Wars, and that set the stage for me in loving science fiction for the rest of my life. And I remember it. I actually remember it. I was a young lad, but it rained that night. We were at the drive-in theater, and the good old days was you went up and you drove into your spot, and they had the pole with the mics on them where you,
That's right.
in order to hear the volume, you'd have to take it off the pole and
That's
put
right.
it in your window.
That's
the
right.
problem was with the window open like an inch, with the rain would be coming in dripping, right?
Oh no.
And the funny thing is, my father said, I think what I'll do is I'll park on this side. Hey, the pole's on your side there. Why don't you roll your window down a little bit, bring yours in so we can hear it? So I was the one who got wet that night.
Oh no.
But you know what? I really didn't notice it. It was a cool night in Nova Scotia, but it rains like 350 days a year in Nova Scotia. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. I just sat there with rapt attention, watching this spectacular, greatest movie of all time. And it was just, wow. So between that and watching the original series Star Trek shows back in the 70s, that was one of the big moments of my life.
Wow. So
Just
that's
so we're
very
clear, we're
interesting.
still talking about Saturn III is the greatest sci-fi movie ever made, right?
Yes.
That's right.
It's curious that you would say that, LT, because most people use the triangle window, which actually doesn't exist anymore. But if you're my age, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
You
yeah.
used the triangle window for your radio when you had to bring it in. Or you would just press it on the wire, like when you would go to A&W and they would put the tray on your window.
Do you remember that with the roller, where they had the roller skates?
Of
And the
course.
girls would come out in those tight little outfits, and they'd bring. I'm a young kid, and I'm like, what am I just witnessing here? That was the greatest time ever, too. Getting my A&W burgers that
You
way.
got a burger. I would always get the whistle dog, and I loved making my
Whistle
parental
dogs or hot
units.
dogs? Yeah.
I loved making my parental units pull the lights on and off to summon the sexy girls in roller skates to bring me more cheese or ketchup for my whistle dog. So,
or milkshakes.
Yes, or milkshakes, but or the big, huge root beer.
Oh, yeah.
But big, huge, double negative. Anyway, but it's Saturn III, folks. It will take you back to 1980. There's this wonderful scene where this beautiful, topless goddess, Farrah Fawcett, turns and she has a very sexy moment with Kirk Douglas. It is a totally absurd movie. It involves a completely absurd plot. There are obscene and ridiculous and obscenely hysterical dialogue, and the robot and Harvey Keitel. And I mean, what else is there to say? A naked Kirk Douglas, a naked Farrah Fawcett, and she has several sexy scenes. Harvey Keitel and a robot, and they're on Saturn. So you will howl with laughter. You will cry laughing. Please watch Saturn III.
I will.
Laugh, you'll hurl. Yeah.
How long are the naked scenes, by the way, for science?
It's timing.
Well, I mean,
Asking for a friend.
yeah. Well, there's
Yes.
always pause. If you need a pause, go ahead and take a pause. I think you know how to pause your
Stephen, are you really that interested in Kirk Douglas naked that you have?
Yes. I want to see before the wrinkles. I want to see before he looked like silly putty.
Yeah,
I'm
full
still-
warning. You do get full on like Kirk Douglas behind.
You do.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still interested in the concept of the drive-through movie. I'd like to explore that a little bit. I mean, if you turn up at the wrong time, you're only going to see a bit of the movie you're not interested in for a drive-through movie.
Oh my God! Why
I
did
mean, what
she,
time do you turn up to get the best bit?
Why does she look like the Austin Powers, the Babe droids that had the machine guns in their bosom breasts?
What are you looking at, sweetheart? Share
I'm
your
looking
screen if
faucet
you've
right
brought
now in that
something
black
up.
scene.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to. Yeah.
Hun,
whoa.
show the.
Well, some of the images are of the robot and her quite
That
interesting.
zipper goes all the way down. I've never seen it go that far
Okay,
down.
well, yeah, maybe don't. We don't want to get
No, it's not
copyright
actually gone
strike.
that far. No, it hasn't gone that far down. It's just a picture, but yeah.
We don't want a copyright strike, but yeah, because you have to do several things in order to prepare for it. I wish I would have prepared something for it because, hysterical. I cannot tell you how happy I am as a Canadian that so much of the American stuff is accessible through the Amazon. It's so good.
That hair looks like Cousin It from the Addams Family. It's like it was added on. It literally just needs sunglasses, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet Sadie's hair where it looks like it could kill you and eat a pencil.
Okay, anyway, take that down.
All
We don't
right.
want to get ourselves in trouble.
Oh, I
But
don't think we get in trouble for that. I mean,
Fat Steven,
she's covered.
I'm sorry, Clobby, I interrupted.
No,
you.
go ahead, buddy. No, I said nothing.
So, Fat Steven, that was quite the live stream you did today, gaming and screaming at that particular game. That was pretty fun,
Dark Souls?
actually. I was laughing watching you guys play.
What I've called it's pretty much beer souls at this point, drunk souls. I was having a beer and trying to get through it. I played the game back in 2016, right? So I pretty much got it, and now I'm just going through the DLC. He has to go.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, Raymond has to run out, so we're gonna let Raymond, my friend. Thank you for being here today, man, and really enjoyed hanging out with you last night and tonight and today.
You guys are the best.
And everyone
Bye,
has, of
Raymond.
course, the link
Take care, Ray.
to his book. Oh, I put it in the private chat like a dummy. Hang on a second. Let me put it in the real one there. Here we go.
But I got a meeting at 7. I got to get going.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here, everyone. And of course, there's a link to check out Raymond's literary works. And I want to thank him again, hanging out last night and today. Thank you, sir.
Thanks again.
Later. Appreciate you, buddy. Take care, man.
Bye, Raymond.
Take care, mate.
Continue.
Thank you, Thoth. First of all, because I love Dark Souls. That's my calm down game.
It's a great game.
What?
It is.
That's your calm down game?
I like soul style games. Yes, I love them because it gets you to think. Ash, you have to think about this. You have to memorize the map. You have to memorize where the monsters spawn, but they're also on a rotational, what do you call it? What are you doing? You're walking around and defending a thing. What's it called? What's the word? You know what I'm talking about? Where they're doing they're walking around a castle, but they're doing their normal march around.
A sentry?
Oh.
Sentry?
No, the movement, not the sentry. The movement.
Oh,
Patrolling. No?
Patrolling. Yeah, when they're patrolling
Yeah,
areas.
patrolling?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to memorize
Recce?
that. And that's how you can apply it to other things, right? Because then you have to memorize other things to figure out where you want to go, how are you going to get there, what the easiest way is, or what the hardest way is because you want to challenge yourself. And Dark Souls does that because every death you learn a little bit more, and you're also learning how to use different weapon builds. It's very deep without losing your mind, and a lot of people do lose your mind. But thank you.
Yes, I lost my mind.
It's fun. It's real fun, dude.
Watch Culture Casino playing it. That's good fun.
Did you get past the tutorial yet?
I figured it was appropriate because we were talking about gaming earlier there before you dropped on. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was laughing. I was watching and then saying, "That's pretty good."
Yeah.
He's finally started raging.
Oh no, no. That's the thing, though. It's not real rage. I'm just upset for my own stupidity or the stupid stuff. I'm not actually angry at it. It's like you're gonna die in a game. A game, if it's hard, you're going to fail. Like no one goes into anything knowing everything right away, right? That's the whole process of learning and playing the game is the experience. It's even with like say Saturn 3. I don't know about, but now I'm gonna watch it. It's the experience because not like that, not that type of experience. No.
Well, Polly put hashtag pause.
Yeah, okay.
Love you,
He was
Tyler.
referring back to the
Hashtag
Paraposit
slow-mo.
feed.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's free on Tubi, someone said. So there you go. You can
Yeah.
watch Saturn 3. There you
It was
go.
a British production. I didn't know that.
Oh,
I
you
did
didn't
get
hear that?
Because
Production
Americans are
design was-
wonderful. I love
Production
American
design was John Barry,
entertainment.
who did some Star Wars work. Not the composer, but the production design.
Does
Mhm.
anime count as like geekdom stuff? Because I have
Yeah,
almost through the second
absolutely.
season.
I'm
of
sure.
Beastars.
Oh yes.
Second season of what? Sorry.
Beastars. It's like pretty much the animals that are like in high school. But there was also a murder. Yeah.
Beast.
Beast
Never heard of it.
It's on Netflix.
It's a weird thing, but
Never
it's actually,
heard of it.
it's actually really good. And the day before that was I rewatched Norton's Hulk. Edward Norton's Hulk.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I still liked it.
I kind of liked it too. But again, part of that is it was sort of like an apology for the Ang Lee's horrible Hulk, which is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Oh, I hate that. I will say this though,
Insane movie.
to not to railroad the conversation or anything.
No, go for
my
it.
wife and I watched episode 1 of Loki last night together. She wanted to watch it with me, which was extraordinary. She's a big Hemsworth fan because anytime that she gets Thor with his shirt off, she's there. So she thought, well, she likes Hiddleston. So she's like, well, let's watch that. And I was like, really? Okay. So we watched the first episode. I hated it. And she went, was that it?
That's
it was like
about
an
it.
hour of boring is what she called it. So
Yeah.
we're going to watch episode 2 tonight. So it should be interesting to see how that
Oh,
goes.
boy.
But yeah, it's,
Well,
it's-
I've watched them all, dude. You're in for a rough ride there, bro.
yeah, at
LT,
least it's only 6 episodes.
LT, can I suggest something though? If you're going to do episode 2 together, make sure you already have your pajamas on, your NyQuil shots at the side table, and pillows at the ready. Because if it was that boring for you as well as I don't know if she's a normie or not, but
She is very much.
then you might as well make sure you make it like a sleepover at the couch if it's that boring.
It was a snore fest after the first one, let me tell you.
Yeah, buddy. Well, you're not gonna. It doesn't get much better for some of us. I mean, there were things here and there, but that last episode, holy
Yeah.
crap. The fifth episode, the penultimate episode, had Richard E. Grant in the real Loki outfit, the Kirby, comic outfit, and then a Loki alligator. I'm like, where was this the first 4 episodes?
That sounds cool.
I loved that. The fifth episode was still dopey, but it's like it had actually interesting things in it. And like, does that mean the last one's going to be good? No, don't be silly.
They did a WandaVision. Did they get up to episode 5 and then or whatever it is through midway through, and all of a sudden it's like all the care and research just gets thrown out the window, and it's just
Wow.
WandaVision really slapped all of the series coming afterwards in the face because you don't know whether or not they're going to actually give you something or they're going to give you a half-assed version of something, and we're reaching the point of either lecture or half-assed, and I don't think anyone really wants that anymore.
It's too bad, really, because they have an unbelievable amount of experts out there who could really help them with writing these plots. Absolutely, you want to throw in your agenda. I was going to go. Sorry, I was going to swear. Actually, they want to throw in their agenda. That's fine. You're going to do that in today's atmosphere in Hollywood. Fine, but you really want to
going to do that. Yeah.
You really want to hit the key points in these characters, and I find that that's really what they're missing is they are leaving so many great storylines and so many great opportunities behind to fit their agenda in. And I'm more I'm less critical of a lot of these shows. Except for Star Trek, I can be pretty tough on my ratings, but I think that a lot of these shows, they have an opportunity to tell a really cool story from 70s, 80s storylines that were just so awesome. The Silver and the Bronze Age stuff is just so incredible. And there are so many experts out there that can help them on their writing staff. And this isn't just for Loki. This isn't just for Scarlet Witch, the Witch and the Vision. This isn't just these shows. This is about the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. There are so many great opportunities to bring billions of dollars into your pockets, and yet they're leaving it all on the table because of this agenda that I'm seeing.
They appear to be deconstructing what's come already in the cinematic universe. Yeah.
Well, they are doing that, but the woman who is in writing for this show, has said, these are her words. They're not even hiding it anymore. Says, the reason why I'm doing this show is I want to make the statement that Loki is bisexual. Well, not I want to make a good show. I want to make an entertaining show. I want people to enjoy a show.
Yeah.
I want to. So they have, by the way, and they don't have the courage of their own convictions because they half-assed it. They barely insinuate. They go, okay, but that's all they do. They didn't show it. Come out and show it. Be all over the place with it. If that's what you're doing. But they won't even do that. Somehow that made this person. Did that fulfill her as an artist? That she's done something worthwhile? No, she just made a little virtue signaling statement. It's pathetic.
Yeah. Now, is she saying that because she means it, or is she saying that because she wants clicks, that she wants controversy, she wants people coming to that website, seeing this, and then going and watching the show?
I think she's just a virtue signaling poser, like all of them.
When 5% of the
Where's the
population
money?
fits into this role, like
where is the money? But
yeah,
I've talked about this at length with on this show, and probably much to the chagrin of less academic people or people who don't really want to hear the academic end of it. But it really does touch into what is sincere and what isn't sincere, because when I've showed the chart before, when we discussed Amazon as an exemplar, you're really looking at $30 billion comes out of these streaming services, these television shows and films that you all love so much. That's how much money is generated. But 300 billion is generated by hate mobs and outrage and YouTube videos and hashtags on Twitter and long posts on Facebook, and that's really where they're generating most of that money. And I mean, when you're on a stream and you're watching a show, what you're doing is you're creating a quiet, private space where you imbibe material. When you're online, when you're driven online to discuss these various intellectual properties, you're not in a closed space where you're imbibing a story and storytelling. What you're doing is you're interacting with advertising to the tune of $300 billion just for Amazon alone. So you really have to start asking yourself, where's the incentive to create these beautiful shows that people want to watch? There's not much incentive there. You're talking 30 billion up against 300 billion. They want you mad. They want you upset. They want you online talking about it. That's where the money is. And you're I try to, I say this to people all the time, but I want to remind you, you see 1 billion tweets a week. You read 10 megabytes of material a day. You hear 4 megabytes and you see 1 megabyte every second. And if all of that can be occupied with advertising, then the corporations are happy, because we didn't invent TV so that we would have something wonderful to watch. That's not why TV was invented. TV was created to facilitate advertising. This is why we had cigarette ads. This is why we had product placement. And when you divorce the advertising from the corporation's ability to get money from you and get you consuming through that intellectual property, they're going to find another way. And corporations have found another way. It's to drive you online to imbibe that 1 megabyte every second of advertising.
Which is the problem with Star Trek Discovery, right?
So yeah. the thing is that's why even when I was on Doomcock, I've sort of felt like I wanted to connect people to vanity metrics and to algorithmic behaviors, because if we just say the filth, that alone can stop this type of gain from them, because they're almost like a dog that's never been treated properly. It'll take negative attention and positive attention, because it's all a metric, and it's all driving that well, just for Amazon alone, 300 billion. So we have to de-incentivize this idea of us getting online to advertise. Before on this show, I explained, imagine if Clobby came out with a show called Mando's Puppets, and nobody had ever heard of it. Well, with television, we would get the advertisers to pay for it, and that's how we would facilitate it. In the absence of that, we would never hear about Mando's puppets. Well, now we are all doing the work. It's Sut Jolly is a professor here, was a professor here in Canada. I think he's in the United States now. And he called the phenomenon the factory in the living room. And that's what we're doing. We are producing all of this advertising, and we are making this stuff famous. And if you're talking about the filth online and you're imbibing advertising while you're doing it, then you're helping the filth. That's why we just have to stop talking about it and only talk about things that we care about, that we want to celebrate, that we want to watch, because we de-incentivize this $300 billion industry for Amazon alone. For
Raquel, you're right.
to
I'm
drink
going
it
to
in.
jump. Can I just jump in for a
Yeah,
second?
absolutely.
I think you hit it right on the head. Absolutely. We have to love what we love. And that's part of the problem is that we're looking at all of this stuff now and we're going online and we're bitching and complaining about it. There's some great stuff in the chat. I'm reading through this. I'm listening to your eloquent speech here and just talking. You're unbelievable. I think you're one of the most intelligent women I've ever met. And I think that what I'm hearing is like you're hearing is talking about the Admiral Potty Mouth stuff from Picard. You've got Brett Cohen saying, personally, I think that's most of a self-insert and virtual signaling. Absolutely. Monkey Jeebus, the MC is not the same thing as the comics at all. There's so much great stuff in the chat, so much great stuff here on the panel. Raquel, that's just unbelievable what you're saying. I agree 100%. But what I've been doing, and I jump on and chat every once in a while and say hi to everybody. And I think what I do is I'm more of a positive guy. I like to be an optimist. I love my comic books. If I have to go to an auction and pick up the What If comics that I'm missing from the 1980s or 1970s, 1980s, I'll do that because that's the stuff that brings me joy. I try to avoid as much as possible the stuff that brings me down. I'm going to be avoiding Picard. I'm going to be avoiding Star Trek Discovery. I'm going to be avoiding all of these shows that are really upsetting me because from a classic perspective, a lot of the stuff that I loved, that I grew up with, is now gone. It's a different generation now that's writing and drawing my comic books. It's a different generation now that's putting on these shows, that's self-inserting themselves into these programs and saying, I just want Loki to be bisexual. Like that stuff that really bothers me because that's not me. That's not who I am. And I think that a lot of things that I've been doing is going back into the past. I've been revisiting my old comic collection and I have to rebag them and board them anyway. So, I've gone through the first 16 of my long boxes and I've gone through, and every once in a while, if I'm doing that on my days off or whatever, I'll pull out a Thing team up, Marvel 2-in-1 or a Spider-Man or an X-Men comic or an old Adventure Comics Legion of Superheroes story that I so love. And I read that through and I smile, and that brings the stress level down from what I do every day from 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever. And I think everybody out there is feeling the same way, that a lot of this stuff is upsetting you. Go back to the past, read some of the good stuff, look at some of the great shows like Saturn 3.
Even making fun of that is fun. It's fun making fun of that. Whereas some of to Raquel's point, some of the stuff that's happening today, it's just not fun with these things. So why would we want to talk about them?
It's not a generational thing, and I think a lot of people are talking like that online as if it's like, oh, get off my lawn, but that's not actually what's happening here. I would love to turn you all onto something that I tutor, and I use it as an implement to teach my students, and that is a scholarly documentary called Consuming Kids by the Media Education Foundation. And it's from 2008, and it's a scholarly look at the corporatization of childhood and this type of storytelling. And what it does is it mobilizes us as perpetual consumers. And so I think that if we could actually, you know, Doomcock is always talking about creating this movement, and of course I love him very much. He's the only subscription that I actually have on YouTube. I love him that much. I think if we could really mobilize people towards only discussing the things that we really love, that's where we create the action, because that's where we can disrupt these corporate marketing teams and these corporations that want us online talking about this stuff ad nauseum to the tune of you know, $300 billion worth of advertising and online consumption every single year. Let's take that away. Let's de-incentivize it and move it towards, this is what we actually like. This is all we're talking about. And when we learn to create the buzz there, that's when the corporations are going to start listening to us.
Well, you're absolutely
right
right,
now,
Raquel.
we're doing nothing but helping them.
Yeah, and Lord Thoth made some great points there. And one of the, for me, is I'm the same as Lord Thoth. I really don't watch these things because A, they don't interest me, B, they're not entertaining, and C, the emotional negativity is too much, particularly at my stage in life. Let's concentrate on the things we love, and I feel that most of us do in this community.
Yeah.
Watching it only seems to encourage it, so it's best to avoid it and talk about anything else.
And
why would we watch
it.
things we don't like? Why watch something you don't like? And I don't. I try not to.
But I don't think that the average consumer realizes how much it will de-incentivize this hyper-didactic, over-moralizing, insincere stuff that they're doing with these marketing teams to create this buzz and this outrage and these social media metrics. And that's why I talked about it on Doomcock as well. You know, for the last 5 years, they've been saying that women love science fiction. Women love science fiction. Well, you know, women don't really love science fiction. Women actually really love science fantasy, and that's okay. 86 or no, is it 86 or is it 82 million? 82 million, I believe, women and presumably their significant others watched the period drama Bridgerton. This shows this was unprecedented for Netflix. 82, I believe it is, or 86. I'm not sure. You'd have to check. Billion or million. Watch that. Okay, so here you have this 82 million, these 82 million people watching this, and they're all online talking about how much they love science fiction and how much they love comic books. But how many people watched Batwoman? How many women actually assembled for it? 265,000. 265 or 275,000 people assembled to watch Batwoman. So we know that what they're trying to groom us for, this corporate grooming towards creating these ultimate all-in-one superhero extravaganzas, are not working. They're not real. They don't materialize in the real world. And what I'm saying is that we can create that within the nerd community and the geek community by just simply only speaking about what we absolutely love. We pull all the buzz away and all those impression metrics and our chance to consume, especially advertising, and we put it back where we want the energy, the kind of stuff we want. And
grooming is a terrible word. It's one of those words that I hate from my job occupation because it's very much a human trafficking term, and I think you said it right when you use that term, because that's exactly what this is. It's right.
Yes.
It's grooming us into a directory, into a direction that they want us to be. They want us to be this way, but we're not. That's the problem that they are facing. And when you use mathematical terms like algorithms and metrics and stuff like that, absolutely, as a student of mathematics, it really is come down to that. And that's really what's going on in Hollywood and in our pop culture today. Comic books, videos, video games, movies, television, it's all about metrics. It's all about algorithms. It's all about fitting everybody into that mold. And that's not what's going to happen, because 90% of your population doesn't fit into that mold. And I think that one of the things that I wanted to say, just to kind of go a little bit off tangent here, is Clobberin Times is going to do something here in August that I really respect and love and admire. He's going to sit down. He's going to have a show all about the greatest comic magazine of all time. He's going to talk about one of the greatest superhero teams of all time, the first family of comic books, the Fantastic Four. And what really upsets me is what they've done with that property in the last 20 years, 30 years even, and what they've really done with comic books and what they've really done with our pop culture, our movies, our television. It's really got to that point where we really have to rely on ourselves to love what we love. And Clobberin Times, I will make sure that I'm there for that show because
Good.
I love the Fantastic Four. I love these properties that really we're seeing traumatized, destroyed, vandalized in Hollywood and in television and in comics today. I went through my poll list for July today. I did my previews and I did my DC Comics list for all the comics that are coming up. And I Googled each one of the titles and I look at what they're talking about and what they're going to be discussing in comic books specifically at this point in time. And really it gets me nostalgic for the silver and the gold, or the silver and bronze age of comics, the 70s and the 80s, the greatest comic time of all time. And
Absolutely.
so I will be there for that.
Oh,
Well,
thanks, man.
I-
Honestly, before we go any further, I just wanted to say too, speaking to that word grooming, that's not hyperbole. Often in these chats, I don't get quite as academic as I want to, and because I always. I don't want to turn it too much into like a university class where I'm conducting a seminar, but sometimes then I walk away and I sort of feel like I should have taught you all more. I should have given you all more information. And so on the topic of using the word grooming, I would like everyone at home to know that isn't hyperbole. I would love for you to all go online and I would like you to look up the documents surrounding some reports called the nag factor. Now, in that Consuming Kids, which is created by a bunch of scholars at the Media Education Foundation, they actually discuss how these marketing teams are and this is back in 2008. This is how long I've known about this. These marketing teams actually sit down and they developed with a psychologist a paper called the nag factor. The nag factor actually inserts instructions for children into our commercials for how they can annoy their parents until they actually buy things.
It's an emotional connection. That's what the media and predators use to create this emotional connection to your child.
That's right, and it exploits the child's desire, but it offers explicit instruction, and so these psychologists and these marketing teams actually insert this into most of children's advertising.
Exactly,
and it's very important that people recognize that, and that's why it's maybe I should do a seminar on this on the internet. I don't know, but it's very important for people to realize that these aren't just some wild theories that I've come up with, or that I'm trying to sort of direct you in away from negativity towards positivity. What I'm telling you is actually a real academic science, a true academic and scholarly look at what we can do to shift this and why it's happening, and we can do that.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to thank you for expressing many of the things so eloquently that I would never be able to put into words, although I feel many of those things. I think it's important to recognize the negativity and why we don't like these things, so we can at least then we can't ignore it, but we should celebrate the things we love. But we do have to understand what's going on with that programming, with that negativity, and what they're trying to do, so we can counter it with our own positivity and celebrate the things we love as a counteracting to that.
Yes. And it has remarkable impact, you guys. You guys have no idea how powerful it is. If we all get on every single day and all we do is talk about TOS and we never mention the filth. The filth dies the second we pretend like it doesn't exist. We create no metrics around it. We deny the algorithms, the words, the hashtags, the eyeballs looking at all of those, all of the advertising that are on the pages that we're looking at online. I challenge you all right now to go to any newspaper that you see online and click on a story. You'll see in the bottom, you'll see an advertisement. You'll see it on the left, you'll see it on the right. And each one of those ads, and including a pop-up, will be dedicated to delivering to you your algorithmic desires. It shapes it around what you desire. So when we start to pull all of their power away by silencing, by closing the door on this stuff, we will gain our true power, and we will be able to affect that change that Doomcock has been calling for so long.
Yeah, and we'll draw people to us
Yes.
with positivity.
Yeah.
Ash had a question. Oh, go ahead. Well, Ash, but go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Stephen. No, I was just going to add that. Okay, so you guys know I love, when it comes to Star Wars, I love the sequel trilogy. You know, when it comes to Star Trek, I mildly enjoyed Star Trek Discovery Season 3. There's stuff that is widely unliked by the general, but there is a subset of people, there's a small group of people who do enjoy the stuff. So my question is, like, if there's a group of people that do like it, and yet they keep making this stuff, how much does confirmation bias from the creators play into the metrics? Because it sounds like they're just listening to the people they want to hear. They're just listening to the people that actually do praise their stuff and saying, oh yeah, they do actually like it, but they're completely disregarding the general proportion of the fans that actually don't like the stuff.
Well, I think that you touch upon an important point, but it's very important to circle back on what I discussed earlier, and that is that these corporations do not make money off of you enjoying their product. They actually don't care that you enjoy their product. What they want you to enjoy is their advertising, and they enjoy that to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. So there's really no incentive to address that sort of thing. So when we talk about what we want, we're talking about advertising. And so the first well you need to go to get a glass of water is that well. And so we need to address the advertising. So the more we're online and the more we're talking about this, and we're creating the hashtags, and we're engaging in these long conversations on Twitter where we're arguing and fighting, not me, I'm just saying we, because I don't participate in that. But what we're doing is we are facilitating that advertising. We are
talking about how much we don't like something is also adding to it, because discourse sells, basically.
Yes.
They don't care whether we like it or don't like it.
Because, and that's why a few episodes on the Global Geek Gang back, I put up that PC Magazine article where it showed a chart of how Amazon makes its money. Now, I was picking on Amazon that day, but Amazon is pretty much the same as everyone else. The money, the real money here is in advertising. And I'm trying to teach everyone in the geekdom and in the nerddom that, and that's where our real power lies. And that's also why I'm so staunch in my denial of even discussing or naming the filth. So look at the advertising. Don't look at the shows. They don't care about the shows. What they care about are your eyeballs on advertising. And you can look to the exemplar that I provided to you a few weeks back. When you see this $30 billion being made off of streaming and $300 billion of you online arguing, fighting, and buying. Arguing, fighting, and buying makes corporations way more money than you watching and enjoying in the privacy of your own home.
You are actually quite right there. By the way, hi,
Pablo.
okay, Ash, what you were asking about is about the people that are actually like The Last Jedi or the sequel trilogy, or you have to think about niche retention. Basically, what it means is you have this subsection of the public that will want what you were selling, even though if let's say is bad. Something like the new Coca-Cola, right? There's people that actually liked the new Coca-Cola. So when Coca-Cola Classic became again the default Coca-Cola, they wanted the new Coca-Cola back. There's a certain niche that will want the product that you are selling. That is something that will happen no matter what. Yeah, but it's not big enough to actually make you want to keep making the product because you are expecting even more money. So this niche can prevail. That is something that has happened in fandom before. There are series that are not that big in the public, but have this small niche that will keep the flame alive. Veronica Mars, for example, or Dead Like Me, both of them had a revival as a movie because of the fandom basically pestering everyone all the time that they want it back. That can happen. But in this case, you have a massive corporation that actually needs a lot more money than the one that the niche can generate. For example, Star Wars. Star Wars was a big enough franchise to make Disney perpetual money. They destroyed it, but it was a franchise that could generate infinite amounts of money forever, just being there, right? Because there was a niche audience that was willing to spend the money all the time, and it had become a niche audience. When they tried to make it a more popular kind of brand, a lifestyle brand like Apple, like an iPhone, that's what they try to do. Make it this big splice thing that everybody talks about. They destroyed the core of the audience. The audience was a small audience that will remain there no matter what. No matter what, unless you take away what they had. Okay? And when they removed the expanded universe, they took away a lot of fandom because they destroyed the connection from the comics and from the video games to some fans to the movies. They disappeared. So basically, if you remove that core of the niche, you kill the franchise, you kill the public. Trying to gather this huge public, you destroyed the franchise. So now you have a new niche that will remain, that is people like you that like it, but the money that Disney expects to make is way more than the one that you can generate. So they most likely will just
And Pablo is
take away.
correct,
Yeah,
but it's
but-
also important to remember that one of the reasons why they chose these mega franchises, these mega IPs, is because the initial niche, so the core audience of these Trekkies and Star Wars geeks, they were the tastemakers. So
Yes.
it's very important to corporations that they have canned product that they know is highly marketable, because that is essentially what is happening right now. What they are not in the business of making entertainment. They're in the business of advertising, and that's why their marketing teams help them to uncover where they can use this canned content and garner as much attention as possible.
Yes.
I
But
want to say,
The
yeah,
conversation,
everyone.
but yeah,
We have, sorry, we have two friends who need to run,
Yes.
so we want to say goodbye to them before we. Sorry to interrupt you there, but
No,
we
I
want
was
to.
going to say that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But Fat Steven and Ironcaster need to run. Looks like.
I actually need to go too there, Clubby.
Oh, all right. Wow, we're everyone's heading out, man. But I guess we are later than usual.
Abandon ship.
Yeah. Lord Doc, we
Hit the
appreciate
iceberg.
you being here, brother. Thank you so much. I don't. You don't have a channel to plug or anything, I guess, do you? But or do you? You still?
I
not
have
doing
a
the channel
channel. Yeah, but it's a work in progress. As I get closer and closer to retirement, I get closer and closer to building the channel.
Well, there's a link in the description below. I put it in there anyway. So.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being a part of this team. Everybody here on the panel is just outstanding. I love listening to you guys, and thank you for letting me be a part of it, Clobberin Times.
Dude, you have an open invite all the time, and it's just we really, really appreciate you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
And thank you, buddy, for being here. Everyone that is the great Lord Thoth, Fat Steven Seagal, my good friend, buddy. We appreciate you being here, man. I know you got a scoop, but what you got going on?
Nothing really going on. Usually there's a lunch table tomorrow, but I wanted to quickly add one thing. Like you guys were talking about the way that they don't care about what we like or dislike. It's not about that anymore. They are now weaponizing not just the positive hashtags, but the negative hashtags. They're using any type of hate or any type of discussion, whether it be negative or positive. That's what they care about, because that's also another form of advertisement. They're using you as their own billboards without having to pay a company to actually put a billboard up. You are not only looking at the advertisements like Raquel says, you are also becoming the advertisers without even realizing it by having those discussions, those debates, promoting whether you liked it, promoting whether you didn't like it, because that brings more eyes to that product, and then the other people will make their decisions on it. Then it gets on and on and on. So you're actually creating a chain that's also going down that pyramid. Am I wrong on this?
No, you
No,
are
not at
right.
all.
That is exactly what I'm trying to teach everyone.
You're a good teacher, so you should do that seminar I wanted to say.
You'll never see reviews on this show of any of that kind of stuff anymore. Once in a while, someone brings it up. I'll address it here and there, basically. But we're going to talk about the great stuff that we love over here.
Yeah.
Even if we criticize something, it'll be something that's worthy, worthy of criticism. Won't be moderny. And it's stuff that helps these people, and that's just. But I'm not condemning those who do. I'm just saying we're here for fun. So, and Steven, appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you too, and congrats that you finally got to that tier you deserved.
Yay!
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, buddy.
I can't wait until we do our monetization stream. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I won't be doing that.
Yeah, you will.
I am monetized, but I got to.
We can tie you down to the chair and make it.
I'm not sure that's his style. He's
And
yeah, I can't.
it's
do
not
it.
really his style, guys. He's going to have to do it his own way.
But I thank you, buddy. I really appreciate you, man. I'll be bugging you, Steven, because I'll need some help with a bunch of stuff, man. So thanks, bro.
I'm always here.
Thanks, brother. Ironcaster, my friend. What you got going on?
Oh, I've been kind of starting to put together a little bit of some news stories. I want to start a little ongoing series. It's called something like Robo Roundup, where I'm just talking about some news stories that have come up. Like, I've got a couple of new games that have just been announced that are kind of on my radar. Some people have been asking me to do some Transformers stuff lately, to talk about the fact that there's the new movie coming out, and there's some new photos coming from the sets of the cars. So I need to at least aggregate and put a little bit of that together. So, yeah.
Cool, man. And so you got any streams coming up, or it's just that you just
tomorrow I'll probably be over. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm always looking to expand it out, and I'm looking to keep adding extra things. So
cool.
Keep watching. You might see something new next time.
Cool. What you got going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow I should be over with Father Christopher Miller for a little bit. And then probably tomorrow night as well, Nick Weiser. So that'll be Friday, Saturday. Actually, Saturday I'm gonna be gone, so I don't have anything Saturday. Sunday we'll have to see what's going on with the Pop Culture Archivist, and then I have my show Tuesday, where
all right, bro.
I'm taking what you've been saying to heart, Raquel, and I'm covering Gundam. I'm talking about a good show.
And when you do that, you are shouting with so much power towards the corporations, because that's when it's like, hey, that's when these marketing teams sit down and they look at the algorithms and they look at these metrics and they say to themselves, wow, this Gundam thing, this is a huge thing. We need some new toys. Maybe we should do this. And you just move it all.
Some new toys announced.
Yeah, you just move all that energy towards positive, and you also reclaim your power. So I'm happy for you, Ironcaster.
Yep. And also, there was just announced today a free-to-play 6v6 shooter that some people are comparing to Overwatch. So, yeah, there's more content to come, which I think that's supposed to be releasing worldwide.
Asus is getting another line, so you will have PC parts Gundam style.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I saw AMD did some, or was selling some computer parts with like Gundam styling on them.
That was Asus. Really? They are making a second round.
Damn.
Yep. Well, there you
All
go.
right, well,
appreciate you, buddy.
Yep, always fun to talk. Always fun to be
Thanks
on.
for being here. All right, man.
Yep.
Thanks.
See you next time, guys.
See you
Bye.
Gotcha. Well, last call. If anyone has anything else, I got one. I was going to cover one thing really quickly, but if you wanted to finish up a little bit of any of your thoughts you had,
Yeah. I kind of have something. Okay, what is going on right now is because of a different kind of economic look that they are applying. It's something that is called circular economy, in which you don't actually own anything, right? What you get is the product as a service. You have seen that on video games for a long time, and you are seeing it more and more in other products, right? So basically, this outlook dictates that you don't really own or have control over anything anymore, right? You are the advertisement, you are the advertiser, and you are the consumer all at the same time. You simply propagate, and that's the word they use, propagate the message of a certain brand. For example, the Apple lifestyle. Since there's a subsection of people that live the Apple lifestyle, they want to consume Apple. So they will buy, quote unquote, buy a product like the iPhone. And when they get home, they have actually nothing because the iPhone is no longer refurbishable or serviceable in any way, shape, or form. It's basically a dead product at the moment that leaves the store, like
Right to repair.
even
You're
work.
discussing right to
Yes.
repair.
Yeah. So basically, what it means is if you need something from it and it doesn't work anymore, you go to the brand, they exchange it, they give you a fee, and you stay in the ecosystem, and you never leave. And you get the watch, and you get the TV, and you get everything that is in this ecosystem. So you have now a lifestyle. It's not about just being you. You are the brand. You are Apple. You wear the Apple logo everywhere. You talk about Apple
Yes,
all the
and you
time.
do it on Twitter, and you do it on Facebook, and you do it wherever.
Exactly. So in that model, you are just a consumer and a way to spread the brand. That's basically all that is. The products that you think you are getting, they can take it away at any point. They can remove the license of the software you have on your iPhone, and you can't and use that iPhone anymore. As they can ban your PS4, as they can completely kill your Steam library, as they can kill
But
the.
Pablo,
Mhm.
it's not like there's some kind of grand conspiracy happening either, though.
No,
You know,
is
this
just a different
this is the
economical
fourth
outlook.
This
this is the
actually
fourth
happens.
revolution of this, and we know that this also happened with radio. I
Yeah.
mean, with radio does not sell music. Radio sells advertising.
Mhm.
They sell air. Imagine selling air. And 98% of all homes had radio all the way up until the digital proliferation.
Yep.
So, you know, it's not like there's a grand conspiracy happening, but it's
No,
very
it's a
important to
progression.
understand that this ecosystem has it's an echo. It reoccurs in society
Yes.
over and over and over again.
And
Radio,
I
television,
will
internet.
Yeah, I will give you an example that actually a lot of people know, but they don't really understand. Cable TV, right? You don't buy the hardware to watch cable. They bring it to you when they install the cable, right?
Yes.
That's right.
And if it's damaged, they come and they repair it or
Yes.
they exchange it,
Mhm.
and you keep receiving cable. What you are paying for is the ability to watch the television programs on
That's
your
right.
TV set,
It's like
right?
internet broadband service
Exactly.
or landline
So
call service.
exactly. So is directly that, and is a model that actually works in a lot of ways. There's places where it doesn't work, like clothing. In clothing, you cannot make a circular economy. They are trying, they won't succeed, but it's just a different economical model
You
that
can't
they
just
are
throw
trying.
that down and not explain it. So yes, you can create a circular economy with clothing. They are attempting to do that, and there are big companies that are attempting to do that, right?
Yes.
Which is the reclamation of the other clothes. So it's quite interesting because you know you buy fast fashion, and then you're told that you have a political and ecological duty to return those clothes if you don't want them anymore. they are recycled, thereby giving the company all of the materials they require to make new clothing, and they just keep it going in a big circle. So there has been some success there, Pablo.
I'd just
Although
like to add wearable technology as well to the clothing argument, because we're getting to a point where wearable technology is getting very advanced. I know, because I worked in industries that's worked on wearable technologies. It's getting to a point where it could go mainstream in the next 5 to 10 years, and that's like huge, and not huge brands, but like the adoption of like technologies to charge up a device or something, but fabricated in your clothes. But then we could eventually see a jacket that changes the color by itself. But what's to say you could pay for a service where it's like you buy a pack, like a DLC pack of logos to have on your right arm, for example, and that changes at the press of a button. And that's just your jacket. So it's getting
advertising on your clothing that can change.
Yes.
Do you want to hear the most dystopian example that there is about this?
Go on.
Your eye color. Okay?
Yes.
There's a technology called CRISPR that actually rewrites your DNA.
I've heard about that.
It replaces strings of your DNA with new ones, and you can actually change the color of a person. But, and this is something that has been talked about in the community, you can actually make so that the effect reverses itself in time. So brands are...
Sorry to cut you off there, Pablo. I thought CRISPR was only used to edit embryonic DNA, not live.
No longer. There's actually a guy that is selling sets that you can use at home to make CRISPR. Wow. Yeah. So, okay, this is the thing.
I get my hair back then?
No, this is actually
Kamloops. I love you, Kamloops. Can I be taller?
It's great.
Sorry, go ahead, Pablo.
Okay, but this is the thing. There's companies that are talking about leaving a codon sequence, codine, like will be on English, codine sequence, to reset that gene and restore your natural color unless you pay.
Yeah.
So this is going to go really bananas.
So basically, real life will become more pay to win than it already is.
And how long before you have to pay for it in order to stay alive for some reason?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one dystopian nightmare at a time, folks. The most important thing, the takeaway message from this broadcast should be what it's a very simple concept, and you should spread it around in nerddom, geekdom, and dorkdom. That they're not selling you these wonderful TV shows. There are no longer these magnificent storytellers like Gene Roddenberry who come forward and say, I have this great idea for a show, let's do a show. And he wouldn't even allow them to put cigarettes in the show, and they quite desperately, almost, well, from what I've read, nearly threatened him over it. You know, we don't have that anymore. What we have now are these marketing teams that look at psychographics, that look at demographics. They hire psychologists. They come in and they say, how can we make this the most impactful we can through advertising? So it's very important you understand these corporations sell advertising. They are not selling story makers or storytellers. And you don't have to feel like it is a dystopia that you can't do anything about, and this is all terrible, and we're spiraling down into a hole where they're going to alter our genes with CRISPR and the whole world's going to end and it's going to be the Matrix. That's not my takeaway from this. My takeaway from this is more academic than conspiracy theory, and that is, I want you to know that they sell advertising. That is what these corporations sell. And you need to keep that in the forefront of your mind when you're discussing these IPs. But you have it within your power to not talk about the filth anymore and only talk about the things you love, so that you can disrupt the way that they are looking at metrics, and they'll start listening to you again. And then we can have some really nice storytellers again. You know, we can have some nice storytelling. You know,
All
a lot of
I
people
can
are
say
talking
is,
about this
Raquel,
Black Widow thing, and I want to use Black Widow as an example. Black Widow, all of the critics that I've been watching who are geeks, who know a lot about film, they said that that entire movie was already made, and the only thing left to do was for the director to film the intimate scenes.
Yes.
Everything else was done on CGI.
Jeez.
And I want you to take that away as the message for the application of what I'm trying to teach you today. You do have
ultimately
the power.
product. That is
Yeah.
product.
This
Yeah.
message has been brought to you by Coca-Cola.
No, by Clobberin times.
Yes.
I would. I'm just waiting for the Apple replicator, so then I can make all my own devices in the replicator, and I won't need to buy them anymore.
Well, you say that, but there's scientists have actually managed to create a form of a replicator.
Yeah,
They've actually created atoms, but through like different. I'm not going to get into the
Yeah.
physics of it,
And
but
Have
to
I
make
got enough
something
atoms
size,
already, Ash?
to make
I've got too
something
many.
the size of a pea, it would take the global energy output currently for 100 years.
And we need a
No,
Dyson
this is the
sphere
fun
then
part,
to produce
Ash.
the energy.
Dyson
this-
sphere is sorry, one sec, Paolo. Dyson sphere is a level 3 civilization
Is it? Yeah.
technology, I believe.
We're still one.
2 or 3.
Level 3.
Level 3.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
But I've got enough atoms already, so that producing atoms is no good to me. I need something bigger than that.
Yeah,
This is the fun part. You know the new quantum processor from China? The one that they...
Oh, the one they built to combat Google, yeah.
Yes. So it actually can do the calculations to make replication possible. And they have shown the capability
do all
of
that.
calculating Googleplex level of decimals, and they can actually go
Jesus
pinpoint.
Christ.
I know nothing about this. I know nothing about this. I'm so glad I don't know anything about this.
Raquel, in maths, you know when you have something times 10 to the power of, and then a number, and then it's that many zeros. A Googleplex is times 10 to the power of 100.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And on that happy note, I'm afraid, Clobby and my friends, I am going to have to also
That's all right.
drop
We're about
out.
to head out anyway, man.
Yeah, we're going to head out anyway,
Right.
hun.
I'm hearing the call of
Thank you.
domesticity.
Do you have a channel yet there, 70s, or what?
I do. I've had a
let's-
channel for a while. In fact, I think Chris
I did
just
not know
put
that.
a link there. Yes, I do have
Um,
one. It is called That 70s Rock Fan, and I make lengthy videos about obscure rock bands, and also I have a series of videos about my favorite
Oh.
science fiction novels. And I'm currently
I
working on my
do-
next one, which is about Greg Bear's Eon, one of my all-time favorites.
Dude, I don't know. I don't have a link on me. I wish I had known, and I would have put one up there. So if you could definitely put one, anyone could put in there, man. Everyone, please go find.
Lobby has, sorry, Chloe. Chris has stuck a link to my
Oh, there we
channel.
go. Thanks,
It's because
buddy.
Chris is the greatest
He's
wrench
the
ever.
man.
I love
He's
you,
always the
Chris.
greatest.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
We
Love
appreciate you.
you.
Hey, look
Yes.
who popped in. Father Christopher Miller. Great to see you, my friend.
Father Christopher Miller.
we
Nice to see
love
you.
Father Miller around here. We appreciate you, sir.
And just before I go, you can catch me on Friday nights on Matt's Foulball Productions MF or Cocktail Lounge, where we have a lovely panel and a lovely good time.
Good.
Absolutely.
And Pop Culture
We have
Archives.
Okie dokes. Actually, we have links to those. That's for sure down there. And everyone, please go subscribe to 70s and Pop Culture Arguments and Foul Ball and Father Miller's channel, which I don't have a link to at the moment. But Father Miller, of course, I've always very honored to hang out with you when we do on Fridays, sir. And we appreciate you. I'm glad to see you stop in, Father.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Pablo, what you got going on, bud?
Yeah, my channel Geek Tropology that I have actually been not that active on. But I'm working a lot, so there's a reason for that.
Right.
Yeah. Other than that, Midnight Search Español. We are doing great there. Well, today we had a stream about the Sliders. Slider is getting a reboot, and it's not woke. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm on Father Christopher Miller. When I can, sorry, Father, I have been absent a lot. On Nick Weiser's tomorrow night, and then Sundays with Jet on the Pop Culture
Okay.
Archivist.
We mustn't forget that one. Yeah, that's
Yep.
a big one.
Absolutely. All right. Well, appreciate you being here, my friend. And it's good to see you as always, and you're always welcome to hang out with us. We're always glad to have you. Let's see here. Our great buddy Ash.
Ash.
Ash,
Hey.
what you got going on, bud?
Well, first, I hope the gaming talk was all right. I do get stuff wrong.
I thought it was
and I don't
fantastic.
know everything.
It was
So
great, buddy. I could
The
listen to you
chat
talk about that
wanted
all
it,
day.
honey. The chat wanted
Yeah.
it.
well,
You
I'm
were
glad it
amazing.
went down well.
You were
So
amazing,
I
bud.
thank you. I do have my own channel, so do follow that if you would like to. I should hopefully eventually one day do stuff on there again, but I'm on so many other people's channels and personal life, and this fills my time. So I'm on Tuesdays when she is streaming again. I'm on Amanda Gillen Presents over on Twitch. That's paneling with her and a few other great people. On Thursdays, I'm here on Global Geek Gang for this amazing show with one of the greatest hosts ever, Clobberin Times.
Oh, you too kind.
On Fridays, I play Minecraft with Explorer of the Multiverse over on his channel. On Saturdays, I'm on T-Shirted Historian's channel, paneling with him and those great people over there. On Sundays, we have the Pop Culture Archivist show. And every now and then, I'll be playing Fortnite with Fat Steven and Explore the Multiverse on their channels as well. And I'm just here, there, and everywhere in the fandom. And of course, this Friday I'll be on Pop Culture Minefield's channel because I'm part of the Pop Culture Minefield crew. So should be there this Friday, as well as some other streams every now and then. And
So,
there's
Ash,
probably
tell
a
me,
few other things, but oh well.
what do you do with the remaining 5 minutes of your week?
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Life gets in the way. How I haven't ripped my beard out at this point is I have no idea, but we move.
Well, I tell you what, everyone, it's never, ever the same when my wonderful first officer is not here with me, and she is here with us today, and I love you so much, Raquel. You are, of course, an author, and here's a link to your wonderful literary works.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, Clobby, we didn't even think anyone was going to be here today, and then it all came together, and it just turned out wonderfully, and it was so nice for Ash to be able to address this breaking news in the geek community. I want to thank everyone in the live chat. Each and every one of you is important to me, important to us, and you have created such a great conversation here today, and I appreciate you for that. And I loved all of your comments, and just you make everything so much fun. So my love to the chat. I want to say also thanks to everyone on the panel who appeared today, present and absent. You guys were just terrific. Thank you for all of the interesting topics and for bringing your opinions and your information to the chat and to this broadcast. I want to thank Clobby. Clobby, thank you so much for creating this wonderful channel to showcase all of these wonderful things that you care about. You are just absolutely brilliant. I love this space and just everything that we get to talk about and do here. So thank you, everyone. And it was a little haphazard today, the Global Geek Gang, but I hope you had a great time.
That's the name of the game for the Global Geek Gang, where haphazard is our way.
Yeah.
Awesome. And we like it that way. I'll just finish up with saying
organized chaos. Chaos.
One of the everyone again, August 8th, 2021, we'll celebrate what happened on August 8th, 1961, the first appearance of the first release of Fantastic Four #1. So we're looking forward to that. But I want to thank a big shout out to not only all of you wonderful friends out there, all my friends on the panel, all my wonderful friends, everyone who subbed, people who hang out with us all the time, my fantastic friends. A special shout out to Retro Blasting. Yeah. We talked a lot today about celebrating the things that you love, doing positive things in terms of our geekness, the geek things that we love. Iconicon this past weekend, and that's from last Wednesday through this past Sunday, is an exemplary of that. It was wonderful. and it was about celebrating, in this case, the wonderful pop culture geekness of the 80s. And with my wonderful retro blasting friends, they have an amazing channel. And this was an online virtual con that was huge. People were going nuts over it. I was very pleased, very honored to host this panel about comic shops of the 80s. And I cannot tell you how much amazing feedback. I had a great turnout and a lot of views, but also the great feedback I had. I cannot tell you how many people have told me, oh my God, that brought me so back to my comic shop and my comics buying days, the days of comic shops in the 80s. It brought a lot of people back, and I tell you what, that touched me. I was very, very pleased to hear that. And I thank them for all of you out there for the kind words. This panel meant a lot to me, and but I didn't think anyone would really care or even remember, and so many people have told me, wow, it just took me back to that time that it was so much fun to go buy comic books. It was the greatest time ever to be a buyer of new comics, a collector of new comics. So I want to thank you all again for that, everyone who said those kind things. Again, thanks to my wonderful retro blasting buddies. They have helped me get where I am. And I just love them both. Michael and Melinda, I love you both. You work tirelessly to bring everybody amazing virtual panels. You guys are fantastic. So, all right, I want to thank my wonderful crew here today. You're just all extraordinary. And we will see you, well, of course, Saturday night. Is that not number one?
Yes.
We will be here for Saturday Night Star Trek.
7:35.
Indeed, but it won't be 7:35 at time. That's the number of episodes. It's
Yeah.
only real Star Trek.
That's right.
7:35 in the morning.
60. Yeah.
No, 7:35 represents 66, well, technically 64 to 2005. The only real Star Trek. All the rest, filth, and we do not discuss the filth.
No filth here at all. We love real Trek only, and even warts and all. Even when it's a matter of it's all in your head, buddy.
We love you, Ash.
I'm going crazy now.
We still love you, though.
We love you, Ash.
We've gone all the way through original series. We've done an animated series, the original crew films, and now we're on Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 1. We're 4 more episodes this week, and we're going to get through this, folks. We're going to get through this, so I can't wait. Love you all, and thanks, as always. Shout out to the great Stone Loki for this intro, outro. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Thank you for being here.